Israel is laying total siege to the Gaza Strip, the jumping-off point for the deadly Hamas terror attack on the Jewish state, now into its third day. A total of at least 1,200 people, many of them civilians, have been killed, thousands more wounded. From Jerusalem, correspondent Joseph Fetterman says the Israel Defense Force is carefully combing areas of the south where the Hamas terrorists initially attacked.
They've cleared out many of these towns already. In some areas, people are still huddled in their homes. They're evacuating the remainder of these communities. They call them scans. They're searching house to house, going through every one of them. There's over 20 of them, going through every home to make sure that the area is cleared before people can go back there.
The Pentagon is sending a carrier strike group to the eastern Mediterranean in support of Israel.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin ordered the USS Gerald R. Ford to be ready to assist Israel. It's the Navy's newest and most advanced aircraft carrier and will be accompanied by cruisers and destroyers. The large deployment, which also includes other warships and warplanes, underscores the concern that the U.S. has in trying to deter the Mideast conflict from growing.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston. Israel is sealing off the Gaza Strip, cutting electricity, fuel, and food imports, among other steps aimed at forcing the terrorists to halt their attacks. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. expected to drop his Democratic bid for president and announce that he'll be running as an independent or a third-party candidate. Kennedy's campaign teasing a major announcement for today in Philadelphia. Kennedy running as a third-party candidate would add a new wrinkle to the 2024 race for the White House. On Wall Street, Dow futures down 193 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Relief factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Stop overpaying for wireless. There is a better way. Pure Talk saves the average family about $1,000 a year on the most dependable 5G network in the U.S. You can get unlimited talk, text, and plenty of high-speed data for just $30 a month. If you're ready to cut your wireless bill in half, dial pound 250 and say keyword spend less, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Again, dial pound 250 and say spend less, and make the switch to Pure Talk today.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky sees similarities between the situation in Ukraine and Israel.
In a video address to a NATO Parliamentary Assembly in Copenhagen, Zelensky draws a parallel between Russia's invasion of his country and the Hamas militant group's incursion into Israel, saying only rules and international law could ensure peace around the world. He goes on, it's the same evil. The only difference is a terrorist organization had attacked Israel, and here is a terrorist state attacking Ukraine. Then adds, let everyone who sponsors terror feel the power of our wrath, and let everyone who needs help defending themselves against terror feel the power of our solidarity. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The Nobel Economics Prize awarded to Harvard University professor Claudia Golden for research that has advanced the understanding of the gender gap in the labor market. News and analysis at townhall.com. It's new lease on life and light for an aging lighthouse.
A 150-year-old beacon that helped guide ships through the Florida Keys before GPS, sonar, and other technology made it obsolete is shining once again. A community group spending $6 million to restore and preserve the Alligator Reef Lighthouse, which turned on its new solar-powered lights over the weekend. The lighthouse began operating in 1873 and stayed lit until 2013. Jason Walker reporting.
Having rejected a proposed 5-year contract by a wide margin, Mack truck workers are on strike. Roughly 73% of the UAW members turned thumbs down on the deal, which covers 4,000 Mack workers in Florida, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. Now they've joined striking Detroit auto workers walking picket lines. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Monday.
Our long nightmare is over. We're back to normalcy, everybody.
Well, it is a holiday.
That's
Happy
right.
Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day, whatever you want to call it. Day
Happy
off for
people
some.
that was already here day.
Yeah, a day off for some.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us know.
No.
We're going to school today.
Yeah. No, we sacrifice our Indigenous peoples holiday so that we can have fair day off.
Yeah. So, post office, banks, they're probably all closed today, but most stores and businesses are pretty much open. So
Great day to get a mattress.
You're
Not a
off
mattress
today?
sales.
Enjoy. Enjoy your 3-day weekend. For
Shut up.
the rest of us, off to the salt mine.
Back to business.
Fair week is over. Great
Yes,
week of fair.
Indeed.
It was a successful, fun week of fair, and weather cooperated for 99.9% of it, I think.
It's so funny though because every year it's the same thing. It's that anticipation. We're like, oh, the fair's coming. The fair's almost here. And then by Wednesday we're like, yeah, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
We're done now.
To be honest, I mean, we had a lot of great shows, a lot of great entertainment. The rides, the livestock shows were awesome.
They expanded the rides this year, by the way.
Yeah, it was a great week. I will say this. I think the dogs stole the show of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Like those
canine
dogs,
stars?
Yeah, those dogs were... I don't care. Even if you saw it 4 times, you want to stop and see it again.
And
I'm
like 4 to 5 shows a day these dogs were putting on.
Yeah, those dogs stole the show, man.
Mhm.
They stole the fair.
I wonder how much fire Jason DeVod actually ended up eating this week, because it was quite a lot.
I'm guessing he needs some Tums.
Yeah. His heart is burned.
Yeah, I bet he's on a steady stream of Prilosec.
Him and Larry the Cable Guy's like this.
That's right. But great week of fair, had a lot of fun, and it was. I hope everyone else had a good time too. So yeah, it was a good week, and it was kind of. I did. You know what? I felt most baller status the whole time, hanging out behind the glass at the railroader thing.
Yeah,
like because our boss, peel back the curtain. Our boss is one of the model railroad. He's in the club, and and so.
Do you see his name's on the sign now?
Yeah, yeah.
I was like his name and phone number. Like, oh dang, you moved up in the world.
He's big time in the club now. But and of course he would invite us to go back, and so Saturday I brought Kim, and so we went back and visited, and he's like, well, come on in, and we go and we lift the track to go inside to the inside thing, and it's kind of weird because, you know, and I was there for a while, and any given time, there was a good crowd of people just kind of sitting on the bleachers, you know, watching the trains go by and the different stuff. And it's I don't know. It's just, you walk in that room and people are like, ooh, that guy's impertinent. You can walk into the...
anytime you walk into a place where there's stadium seating and like people, not stadium, but there's a few rows of seats and people are like watching what, you know, is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. If you ever get a chance to go back there and check it out, it's so much intricate detail on the layouts and the cities and all those stuff.
And I'll be honest, I mean, I know that they're putting on a show.
Sure.
It's for them. Because half of those like details, you can't see through the glass. There's hikers on the trail.
Yeah.
Like detailed, like with
but
like
it
colors.
is cool to see
Oh,
once
sure.
you go in there. But yes, this is an activity for grown men to play with toys.
Of
There's
course.
nothing there, no ands, ifs, or buts around that. That's
Mm-hmm.
we all, I think, are willing to admit that because these people have a passion for this stuff, and it's a lot of fun. And it is a whole world because I was in there for 5 minutes listening to him talk. And
You got out in 5? Wow. He managed to get everybody in there for about 20. Everybody I took by.
Well, just listening to them talk and the way they do it, and yeah, it's very like nerd, but that's everybody's nerd about something.
That's the thing, exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody's got that one thing that they nerd out on.
And
Mine
this is their thing.
Mine is pro wrestling. His is model trains.
But it's really cool. It is neat. I love to watch it and see it, and I could sit there and just cathartically watch the trains go around, and you know what I mean. That there's a certain peaceful,
easy feeling.
Yeah, tranquility of it. But the amount of minutia and details to acquire said tranquility is where I get lost.
Yeah,
because it's just too much for me. But I can appreciate the time, energy, effort.
Oh, absolutely.
And sure, I could easily just sit there without people and just watch the trains go by and be in my own little world. And plus they like to play, so they'll put like cameras on some of the trains.
Oh, I gave them the suggestion they should get a GoPro.
And then they
for a few of
watch
them.
the trains. You can watch trains go around the tunnels and through the little towns, which is where you actually see some of the detail of which you speak, the hikers. Because when that train's going through, it's kind of like you used to watch Mr. Rogers back in the day when
I was going to compare it to Shining Time Station.
But you know how like at the beginning of the show, he'd like take you through the little town and there'd be the cars. It was ride the train through the camera was just like
they should
that
just put
too.
that music on.
Yeah,
that transition music from the main stage to the.
I'm not gonna
King
lie,
Friday.
it's cathartic, peaceful. It's fun to watch, and it's great.
I did
little...
get chastised once.
Ooh.
So I went to the train room. I think I was either dropping off the keys or no, I was dropping off the keys for the trailer for the night, and they had all kinds of little snacks on the table. So I grabbed one of the Dots pretzels, and Gene comes out. He goes, "Those snacks aren't for people." I'm like, 2 days ago you held the bag up and offered me one. What was I to take from that? Those snacks aren't for people. Got it.
Only
It was
engineers.
one pretzel rod. It was delicious, by the way.
What was the Dot pretzel?
It was a Dots pretzel.
I saw
Fantastic.
the Dot pretzel bag too. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a fun week at the fair. Had a good time. Got to enjoy everything. And
Big
got to
thanks
see
to the
sights.
volunteers, to all the folks, the custodial staff out there, everybody who made this event, the security staff who make these events happen. We really appreciate everything you guys do.
Yep, food looked good. I didn't get to try the island noodles though. I was going to go do that, and then just time did not allow
Jocelyn
me.
tried those, and
They looked really good. I was seeing them over there, and I was like, I need to get over there. But by the time I was ready to eat something, lines were long, and I'm like, I'm not ready to get in the line there. Plus, I was supposed to be working, so
Yeah, you can get out relatively, inexpensive at the fair. They had a $3 hot dog. You can go grab one of those. It's not super cheap, but that Wild West soda shop, I tell you what, I was living there for most of the week.
They have delicious iced tea.
They really.
I know most people get their sodas and their sarsaparilla and stuff.
Right.
I spent my Saturday just walking around with a big giant iced tea from them, and it was delicious.
Iced tea is really one of those things that if it's not really good, you're just drinking dirty water.
Oh, that iced tea was a 10.
That's what I'm saying. It's really, really good.
And they even did it the way I like it, with the unsweet, with the sweet lows. He's like, how many?
Oh, really?
3 sweet lows. Thank you. It was perfect.
Wow.
I got a bigger cup. So
Yeah.
I got a large.
Did you get the tumbler?
No, not this time.
Okay.
I have. To be honest, I need to bring those with me.
I have a collection of Wild West Soda Shop cups.
Between the metal cups and the tumblers, I do have a selection of them at the house, and I never bring them back to get them refilled. But something about drinking out of a metal cup, especially cold beverages. I know people like drink coffee, but something about a metal cup with a cold,
it's just extra
beverage,
special.
It's extra, and with iced tea, it's just, I don't know, it just hits a spot.
Mike made his happy boy face.
It just hits a spot. It hits a spot that makes me happy. And is it go back to 7-year-old me, probably, but I don't care. It makes me happy, and I'll walk around the fair with my big middle cup of iced tea and seeing what trouble I can get into.
Carrying a balloon, probably. But,
and if you wanted to get in on a gun raffle at the fair,
there was plenty.
It's your own fault if you didn't get one, because you could have walked out of there like Fort Knox if you would.
There was one table at the very first row. They're like, enter for your chance to win 12 guns. I'm like, why? What do I need 12?
Well, that's you ever seen the movie Unforgiven?
Mm-hmm.
One of his deputies had one arm.
Right.
But he had like 7 guns. And the guy was like, why you got 7 guns? You got one. Well, if I die, it's not for lack of shooting. And that was his line. But he's literally in one hand. And he's loading and picks up like 7 guns.
You're lucky you're just hucking guns at the guy.
Right. Ain't no bullets. We got 30 guns. But yeah, it was a trip to the commercial building. You're like, want to enter a gun raffle? I'm like, I just did. There's another one.
Are you guys connect? No, totally different guns.
Like all the gun stores, like, oh, we can't sell guns. We all of our guns are committed to gun raffles right now.
They're promised out.
So I might be a little slim pickings for buying guns right now because they're all on raffle guns. But yeah. It was a fun weekend there. It was really cool, and I'm telling you, the dog stole the show. The dog show was so cool with them jumping, and all the other stuff was cool. But I don't know, it was something about the dogs. They get you every time.
What's funny is I never watched a full show, but I've seen the entire show now because I've watched like
just in different
pieces,
different segments. But and the fact that the rescue dogs just like seals the deal. It's like of course they're
It is until you really start to break that down, because you're like, yeah, they're rescue dogs, but they were immediately put to work doing stunts for humans.
Yeah,
feels kind of sweatshoppy, doesn't it? I mean, you're like, if you go and find like rescue like folks on the street, and you're like, hey, I'm gonna put you in my T-shirt factory.
I would say that, but I'm willing to bet. I could see your point, but I'm willing to bet those dogs live better than you do.
100%. They eat only the highest quality kibble.
They got a job. They're living pretty good.
I'm at kibbles and bits level. They're eating iams.
Yeah. And plus, they're at fairs.
Yeah.
You know they get slipped chicken fingers and corn dogs and things all the time. Those dogs are probably pretty happy.
Oh yeah, they're pleased. I joke, but
I'm like, can I be one?
Are you guys hiring? Or...
Hey, give me a corn dog. I'll jump in that pool all day and catch a frisbee with my mouth.
That would be fantastic. Just 3 poodles, and then Mike just.
I'll pose. I'll do the whole thing.
He's a good boy.
Shirtless. Because we're getting water. I don't know, wear my bathing suit.
Right.
Speedos, catching a frisbee.
I would love to see you catch a frisbee with your mouth.
Who's a good boy? I
am. Over here.
But happy Monday. Let me give you the rundown. We do have a full slate here. Matt Bristol patiently waiting, listening to my dumb dog jokes here.
Ominously almost in the doorway.
From Bristol Law Office.
You've got my chair. I know. I'm going to move. I promise.
But Matt joins us once a month, gives us sage legal advice. So he'll do that again here in just a few minutes. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, Juanita Jennings, Public Affairs Director for the City of Roswell, will join us. Talk a lot about the Arts and Science Fair happening this Saturday at the Convention and Civic Center. We'll talk about that with her. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to replay an interview. Lauren Newman with the Roswell Refuge joined us last Wednesday, gave us an update. Of course, this month is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. They have their Candlelight Vigil event coming up. So we'll replay that interview for you here in just in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15. Plus, we'll have all of your features that include news, Wall Street business update, sports. Sorry, Cowboys fans. Was not a good. That's all right. My team got smoked by the Stinky Bears on Thursday, so I've had an extra few days of depression from that. But Cowboys fans, I know it's not happy when you go on Sunday Night Football and get smoked by the 49ers. It's almost as embarrassing getting smoked by the Bears on Thursday Night Football. Anyway, I too feel your pain. But so we'll do sports, whatever else we can come up with for today's show. Before we do any of that, though, let's take a gander at your weather. which I think it's going to be a little warmer than it was over the weekend here, but still, nice enough.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Not much going on over the next couple of days as high pressure centers over southern Colorado and northern New Mexico and western Texas, and that'll keep things sunny today. Mid to upper 80s on the afternoon high. Mid-50s and clear for the overnight hours. Will warm up a few degrees on Tuesday. We're looking at upper 80s for the whole area with sunshine and maybe around 90 by Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 55 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 64%. Winds are calm at the moment. Going to be warmer for this week, but not unbearably warm. 87 today for a high, so we're going to be near 90. Winds will be out of the south 5 to 10 miles per hour. For tonight, mostly clear with an overnight low of 56 degrees. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. For you Tuesday, they're saying there's a slight chance at isolated sprinkles tomorrow afternoon. Increasing clouds, high of 86 tomorrow. Winds will be out of the south 5 to 10. Clear skies tomorrow night with an overnight low of 57. That's the part that makes me happy. These overnight lows are now in the 50s, which is that's the real sign that we're in fall now. For your Wednesday, we're looking at sunny skies, highs near 91. So that's probably one of our warmer days this week. Southwest winds 5 to 10 in the morning, 15 to 20 for Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, sunny, highs around 86. For your Friday, we're looking at sunny skies, way cooler, high of 73. They don't mention wind on Thursday, but I'm going to guess if we're going to go from 86 on Thursday to 73 on Friday, wind is going to be involved with that. So that's just a hunch. 72 and sunny on Saturday, and then back up for highs right around 80 on Sunday under sunny skies. So a little bit of a cooler weekend, I think, there. So we'll see. But it is fall. Remember, it is, October now. All right, it is 7:22. We're going to take about a 3-minute break here, and then we will have Matt Bristol join us on the other side from Bristol Law Office. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A big October run this week with a nice selection of all classes of cattle, especially high-quality native calves, light yearlings, pairs, bred cows. Expect to sell 2,500 head, breaking down like this: 350, 400 weighing cows and bulls, 300, 350 pairs and bred cows, 1,800, 1,850 calves and yearlings. Today's sale will include 17 Holstein weigh cows off one dairy, 7 to 80 cow-calf pairs, mostly extra quality 3 to 9 years old, 150 bred cows, no-gal Orb, no-gal New Mexico, extra quality Angus crossbred cows, bred to Angus bulls, cows 3 to 9 years old, 45 bred cows, Mr. John Erskine, Wink, Texas, extra quality Charolais crossbred cows, bred to Angus or Charolais bulls, 3 to 8 years old, 70 light yearlings, no-gal Orb, no-gal New Mexico, extra quality black Angus yearlings, weaned 60 plus days right off grass, 2 rounds of shots, 550, 700 pounds. Also 78 calves off the same ranch, extra quality black Angus calves, 300, 450 pounds. 71 calves, Miss Lisa Geikus here north of Roswell, extra quality black white face, red white face English crossbred calves, 2 rounds of shots, 450, 600 pounds. 84 yearlings, Makashika breaks here north of Roswell, good quality black and red crossbred yearlings right off grass, 500, 700 pounds. 82 calves and light yearlings, Miss Joyce Halderman, Encino, New Mexico, ex-quality Charolais crossbred calves, shots at Brandon, 400, 700 pounds. 101 calves, Mr. David Holrack, El Paso, Texas, ex-quality black and red Angus crosses, cattle weaned 21 days, Bovinshield Gold Vision 7, 350, 500 pounds. 53 calves, Mr. Larry Baldwin, Fort Davis, Texas, ex-quality black white face Angus cross calves, 1 round of shots, 500, 600 pounds. 44 calves, light yearlings, Wilson Ranch, Ancho, New Mexico, excellent quality red Angus crosses, 2 rounds of shots, 500, 700 pounds. 75 calves, Erskine Cattle Company, Wink, Texas, excellent quality Charolais crossbred calves, medium condition, 400, 600 pounds. Lots of good quality calves and light yearlings for today. Going to start a little earlier this morning. Sale time 8:30. Sell pairs of bred cows about 11:30. Be selling calves and yearlings about 1 to 1:30. We expect to sell 2,500 head here today. This is Smiley Wooten for all the livestock auction.
I read a quote once that said, "When you blame others, you give up your power to change." Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
We all want to play the victim at times. It even feels good to feel sorry for ourselves. But that puts a lid on our life. It stunts our growth, it damages our marriages, and if you have children, it can even hurt them.
It can seem like a daunting task to take responsibility for our actions. But the Bible says in Philippians 4:13, we can do everything through Christ who gives us strength.
If you've never experienced the love of God, then you don't know your true potential and don't realize how good God is. When you're feeling like a victim, turn to God. He'll give you the strength to move beyond yourself and help you have a victorious marriage.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
Discover a rewarding career in public service. The New Mexico Human Services Department is ready to hire for over 100 data entry positions, including opportunities to work from home. Apply and interview same day at the Rapid Hire event on Thursday, October 19th, in person at New Mexico Workforce Connection Centers located statewide. Bring multiple copies of your up-to-date resume, professional references, proof of right to work in the U.S., and dress for success. Join us October 19th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and give back to your community through dedicated service in state government. We hope to see you there. For more information, contact your local New Mexico Workforce Connection office.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. You burn more calories sleeping than you do watching television. For the ultimate workout, fall asleep in front of the TV. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:26, and joining us in studio, as he does each and every month, to give sage legal advice, Matt Bristol with Bristol Law Office back with us. Good morning.
Morning, Mike. How you doing?
Doing good. How about yourself? How are you's fall?
Oh man, I am just enjoying this so much. I'm so glad summer's over.
Well, is this kind of like top golf season for, because you're a golfer on the weekends.
Yes.
This is probably the time of year where you get, it's most pleasurable time to go do some golf.
It is. Yeah. I asked the wife to go with me yesterday, so we had a good afternoon together.
Oh, she's a golfer too?
No, she's not.
Oh, okay. But so that's something you can do together.
It's something she enjoys riding in the car.
Okay, she likes being outdoors and enjoying the fun.
It was great temperature.
Yeah.
So we went out and did 9 holes yesterday and had a good time. We kind of skipped a couple holes. We were behind some folks that were really slow.
That happens from time to time.
And that's fine. They're getting out. They're enjoying the weather, and they had girlfriends and wives with them. And so I wasn't going to rain on their parade.
Sure.
So we just kind of went around them and skipped a few holes. And had a good time. And then I cooked burgers yesterday, and I practiced my biscuits on a stick.
Ah, how'd that go?
Well, I hadn't done that for 50 years, but I was going to show the scouts how to do it and thought I'd better practice,
It does always helps when you try to demonstrate the things and it works.
Yeah.
So that's usually the embarrassing part. So it's good to do practice before
practice. Yeah, so it took about 15 minutes was all, and put them on a stick and put them on the coals and worked hunky-dory fine.
So was that dinner last night, the biscuits and burgers?
The biscuits were dessert.
Nice.
But,
very cool.
But that's something we learn in Scouts.
Yeah. So that's the beauty of scouting, which when Matt's not busy being an attorney, he does spend a lot of his free time for years working with Scouts and building, doing Scouts, and he's that's one of Matt's other passions when he's not being an attorney.
Yes, I'm working with the female Boy Scout troop.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, we actually have one in town, and for a few years now.
Yeah, it's been a couple years, and good deal. Well, and we just entered. So now we're going into the fall, so summer camp season's kind of over and things, and so you kind of get settled into those winter activities and things like that here. So that's what they're kind of getting into now.
Yeah, I think next month we'll be camping at Wahanape.
Oh, nice. So I imagine it's a lot more fun and different to camp there off season. You know what I mean? Like Like I remember going down to our local scout camp in the winter or fall, and it's a different world than it is in the summer. It just looks different. It feels different. It's just a different vibe when you're there when it's off season kind of thing.
Oh yeah, it's just so pretty there.
Yeah,
we went in a couple of months ago after summer camp and camped in the valley, and so next to the lake, and so I think it may encourage the kids not to camp in the bottom of the valley during the winter because all that cold air is going to come right down.
Yeah, there's you get to learn how Mother Nature works.
That's
and
right.
How the terrain and how that plays into things.
Yep,
absolutely. But that's again getting back to that point of scouts and things. That's what they do. They learn, and you learn the land, and they know the land and camping. And this is put it this way: you go on a hiking trip, you got a Boy Scout along with you, you're probably going to be all right.
That's right.
They've got the tools to get you through it if something happens that's not going to be planned, which does happen from time to time.
It does. Be prepared.
That's right. Be prepared. They're all kind of all about that thing. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's also good sage advice in the world of legals too. You know, an ounce of prevention prevents a pound of pain later.
That's
kind of
right.
thing,
yeah.
You know? And that's true in this world. And, of course, if you're not familiar, Matt joins us every month. We do spend a lot of time talking about, like, financial and things like that. So a lot of the stuff to avoid seeing Matt down the road or getting the paper or even, like, family, you know, wills and in businesses, making determine your partnerships or your LLCs or making sure you're doing that correctly.
Yepers.
We do a lot of that stuff. Well, today we're going to stay in the vein but change gears a little bit here. And something that I think a lot of us, well, some of us deal with, depending on if you live in neighborhoods and stuff. But homeowners associations, depending on, you know, where you live, some neighborhoods are under a homeowners association.
Yeah, my stepson belongs to an HOA. He lives in Albuquerque.
Yeah. And they have them here in town, too.
Got some in Roswell.
I particularly live in one, to be honest. But they are existing. A lot of times they are in neighborhoods where there's community assets, like a pool or community property or something like that. They're
usually common areas. Yes.
And so that's generally when there's a need for them. But I wanted to kind of talk about that today. And, you know, if you do move in or you live in an HOA situation, what are your responsibilities as a homeowner? And conversely, what's the responsibilities of the HOA? What are they supposed to do, and what? So I kind of wanted to just put that out there and put it in the public, so we all know. You know, if you're serving and working on one of these, what are your rules? What are your responsibilities? And vice versa. If you live in a neighborhood with one, what are they allowed to do? What are they supposed to do for you, and what are they supposed to not be doing over there too? So I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that stuff today.
Well, so generally, your realtor would warn you or let you know ahead of time it's an HOA involved. So sometimes it's going to be obvious, sometimes not so obvious. But generally, there are common areas. So
and I'm not saying it's a bad thing either, because a lot of times you hear stories, HOA, oh boy, and all that. There is a reason and a need for them, you know, but sometimes people don't understand what it's for and what it is and overstep boundaries. And that's where people get the bad names and some of the bad feelings about this stuff.
Well, when you do get a deed to a house, typically some of the boilerplate on the deed will say subject to reservations of record. And so, especially with a title policy, one of the exceptions to title will be the HOA rules. So they're going to warn you ahead of time if you pay attention that an HOA is involved. So generally, a HOA is going to regulate what say what the buildings will look like.
Sure.
Or paint or color.
A standardization of what the neighborhood is supposed to look like.
And it's supposed to protect the value of the property. So you don't have something, fuchsia colored house.
Yeah.
Say.
Yeah, it's kind of keep your neighbors from just going crazy and doing something doesn't fit the aesthetics of the neighborhood. And then like a lot of it is to maintain the resources of the neighborhood. Like if you do have a pool, or you do have landscaping and watering and the work of taking care of the public property or community property, so to speak, that's part of the HOA. And so you have to raise money, maintain it, do all that. And so that's part of the HOA too, is to make sure that the common grounds, the common property is maintained and taken care of and done as opposed to.
Yeah, my stepson and his wife recently wanted to repaint the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so they went to the HOA and they said, this is the color swatches that we're interested in. And are these going to fit the HOA rules?
Mm-hmm.
And so the HOA said, yeah, that's a good color swatch. So we went to visit them recently after they painted the house, and it's just like from a half a mile away, you can spot the color. It's like, wow, that's kind of bright.
Yeah.
Hey, we asked the board.
We got approval.
Yeah, we got approval.
Yeah.
Ahead of time. So, but that's what the HOA is for.
Absolutely.
Is to have, a certain standard of living.
Sure. And it's to protect you and making sure that you keep the standards that you wanted when you moved there too. That's it's a good thing. I know some people hear it and it's like, wait a minute, that sounds Gestapo-y and everything else. And yes, to a point, and that's the thing. And some HOAs are better at it than others. But that's something that okay, well then let's talk about this. What can they do? What can't they do? And what's crossing the line and what's within the rights of the HOA. That's why I want to talk about.
Yeah, so you have to read the rules.
Mm-hmm.
So a homeowners association is a created thing. So it is created by the Declaration of Covenants.
Sure.
So you want to read that before you buy and see what it says. And so that governs how the HOA works. So if you don't like the rules that are written, then don't buy a house in the HOA.
Sure.
But if you can live with it, that's fine.
Well, and I imagine there's certain things the HOA can put in there and can't put in there too. So if there are things that are considered illegal and you're part of that, I'm sure there is a recourse for you on some of those.
Well, you can't discriminate.
Sure.
Sure. So if the covenants have some kind of discrimination language in there, then that's going to be illegal. But if it says that typically there'll be an architectural committee that the houses have to meet in a certain standard, and so if it's really vague, then buyer beware.
Sure.
Because it's going to depend on who's in charge of the architectural committee.
Right.
If it's just really vague, may have very specific standards. Don't know. But you're going to have to read the Declaration and Covenants before you buy, so you know what you're getting into. So that's kind of a, good news, bad news thing. I mean, if you got a kind of an easygoing board and they're flexible, then that's a good thing.
Sure.
But if it's really vague Declaration of Covenants, then you got somebody who's, a little overboard, and they could just start making up all sorts of stuff.
Sure.
And so you got to be. So a lot of it's going to depend on who you're dealing with, but the board has to do what the Declaration of Covenants says.
Gotcha.
That's the governing instrument.
Gotcha. Now, that Declaration of Covenants, is that created by the board or a committee with the board? Like, or does that standardization come outside of an HOA here?
So whoever designed the, excuse me, typically it's somebody was a developer who developed the area. And so they came up with the Declaration of Covenants. So generally the developer came up with that stuff.
Okay.
Now they can be amended, but just like any other bylaws of any other organization, it's going to say you can only amend under the following conditions. So it may be a simple majority, maybe a 3/4 majority. Just depends on what the document says. But generally it's the developer that starts the Declaration of Covenants. And that way it protects his investment. And that's the selling point of, everybody's going to have a certain standard of house.
Sure.
Can't be smaller than, can't be bigger than, it has to look a certain way to protect your investment.
Sure.
So the Declaration of Covenants sets forth what the standards are in the organization and how the organization works. It's going to say there's going to be a board, there's going to be a president.
Gotcha.
That's how elections work.
It's the playbook for how these things will be enforced / maintained.
Yes. Yeah, it is the playbook of how things are going to work. So you have to read that to know how things are going to work. But if it says, okay, the houses shall be painted to maintain the integrity of the HOA, well, that's pretty darn vague. And so that could work for you and it could work against you.
Gotcha.
So if you have somebody who is a real control freak, they could turn that into anything they want.
Absolutely.
Say, hey, Mike, your house is, white, it's supposed to be eggshell. You need to paint it again.
Right. Something that was written vaguely to make it easier could actually make it more complicated if you aren't careful.
Well, if you're dealing with the wrong person.
Sure.
Yeah. So if somebody's on a power trip, they could say, well, your gutters are 1 inch out of line. You need to fix that. And like, really? An inch? So sometimes vagueness is good. Sometimes it's bad, just depending on who you're dealing with.
Sure. Now, for folks that aren't familiar, HOAs do have teeth, because generally, you pay a fee each month because that's part of it. And that generally your money goes back into the resources for the HOA to pay for the watering, to pay for the grass seed, or to pay for repair of common areas, whatever it is that is needed there. And if you're not in compliance, they do have recourse there. And usually what it comes in the form is putting liens on your houses and things. So it really doesn't affect you till you try to sell the property, and then it's like, wait a minute, you either the people that are going to buy this are going to have to pay your lien, or you better pay this off before you can sell the property, depending on those situations. So that's really where the teeth are with an HOA. But that's the question is how, like in courts, how much do those HOA things hold up? Are they pretty they support it most of the time, or because a lot of times you get the power trippy person there, sometimes the courts tend to shoot those down? What's generally your experience when it comes to the legal side when some of these things do go to lawsuits and that type of thing? What's generally what you see? Is it generally favor HOAs? Is it generally favor the clients, or is it a 50-50?
Well, it depends on what's being litigated.
Gotcha.
So each HOA has dues, as you said. There's monthly dues, and those may go to, if there's a pool, maintain the pool. If there's a common area, maybe to keep the lawn mowed or streets. Sometimes there are assessments. So the HOA needs to repair, pothole, or repairs. If there's a pool, they need to replace the pump.
Gotcha.
So there may be assessments. So things like that would be upheld in court because, it needs to be done.
Sure.
Now, if, your gutter's 1 inch out of line and they fine you, the judge may or may not go along with that, depending on how the language of the HOA is.
Sure.
So it depends on how vague it is. So we have seen some really vague things. In fact, there's an HOA northwest of town. So some of the language was poorly written. And so it was subject to interpretation. So, the judge isn't going to name a bad guy just because the language was vague and people had different interpretations.
Sure.
But generally speaking is you bought the house subject to the rules of the HOA, and you knew it going in, and you're bound by them.
Gotcha.
And if you didn't like those rules, then you shouldn't have bought the house.
So if the regulations are poorly written, will judges strike them out because they're too vague, or will they generally fall on the side of the person that was written and generally lean toward the people that are enforcing the contract?
Well, the judge will give it a reasonable interpretation, whatever reasonable is defined as. So if it says the homeowners shall maintain their gutters, well, that means in reasonable working condition. So if it's 1 inch out of line, the judge is going to say, really?
That's not reasonable.
Yeah.
That's nitpicking.
That's nitpicking, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's going to be things like that.
But if the shutters are hanging off and about to fall off, then that's valid.
There you go.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so the judge is going to be trying to be a reasonable person, a reasonable man.
Hopefully in a good mood that day.
Hopefully in a good mood that day.
Hopefully had a nice lunch if it's after lunch, or didn't have a rough commute into work that day and in a better mood.
Hopefully didn't drink too much tea at lunch.
That's right. But and so as far as like residents, what's if you get moving to a neighborhood and it's like, is it just work with the board and be that thorn to make sure the stuff is done right, or what's the generally proper recourse for people that are that live in an HOA and maybe they think that some of their rules and things aren't clearly written? Is it just a matter, well, run for the board and do your thing, or is there more legal recourse for them?
Well, anytime you go to court, it's expensive, it's time consuming. You don't always know what the outcome will be.
Sure.
So the best thing is, again, read the rules before you go in.
Yeah.
If you got any questions about anything, I'd talk to the board.
Yeah.
And say, hey, you know, what does this mean, or what does that mean? How have you guys interpreted this provision in the past, kind of thing? But then, yeah, if you got a question, you know, before you start painting the house the wrong colors,
right,
you go to the board or the architectural committee, whatever they have, and say, like my stepson, say, here's the color swatches we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do we have permission for this? Or we want to paint our trim a certain color, a contrasting color. Here are the swatches. How's this? So I would, you know, work with the board before you do something,
Sure,
just so you don't get dinged.
Well, that's just sage advice in anything in life. Anytime you're doing, and this is true with any remodeling project, if you're building fences and stuff in your yard and you're on city property, you're supposed to get permits for all these things and do all that. So it's good advice, regardless if you're an HOAs or not, to go down to City Hall, make sure you got the proper permittings and anything, or if you're doing contract work, making sure your contractors are getting those paperwork and all that kind of stuff too.
That's right.
That's not HOA or any HOA. That's just what you need to do if you live in especially in Roswell here or any city. You got to apply to those ordinances and things, whatever that city is here.
But a lot of times HOAs can levy fines if you violate the rules. So it's like, hey, Mike, you painted your whole house black, and there's a covenant against, you know, black houses, black paint, and we're going to fine you if you don't fix it.
Right.
So you want to avoid that kind of mess.
Sure. And they're well within the rights to do that and can do that and generally should, because that's the very reason for an HOA, is to prevent someone from going in and doing exactly what you just said, going in because that's what happens. You paint your house black, and then everybody's property values go down, and you know, and so that's where HOAs actually are good and beneficial. It's when, you know, if they're doing things or saying things, and vice versa, the people as well. You have to, you know, make sure there's certain things you can do within and what you can't when you're not. That's when you need to raise the flag and say something, because unfortunately that's where people think HOAs and stuff sometimes overstep their bounds, because in theory you start thinking, well, back to what you're saying, why are you mad at me because my shutter's 1 inch off? You know, that's the stuff people get mad at.
But what if the HOA rules say, you know, the house shall be a certain shade between, you know, this color and this color?
Mm-hmm.
And so Mike's thinking, well, you know, that's all well and good, but, you know, all these houses look the same. How can anybody find my house if they all look the same? So Mike paints his door red.
Yeah.
So he tells his friends, yeah, just come on over and, you know, turn down the street, and the red door, that's my house. Easy to find. And so the HOA comes, okay, Mr. Winters, your door's red, and the rules say your house must be between this color and this color. And Mike says, yeah, you're right. The house is. The door's red.
Yeah.
So the house is the right color, but the HOA rules say the house, and say the door. So where do you go from there?
Right. Then it's a legal fight now. Is the door considered part of the house, or is that different?
Yeah.
You know, is it still a house without the door?
So that's why you have people end up in court. Over stuff like that.
Well, and that's where, you know, people can be jerks and stuff, and that's and that's just it. And you just got to know your stuff. But here's the thing too, is that I do want to ask this, because there's a lot of people that get asked to do this stuff and don't, because of, you know, oh great, I'm going to deal with that headache and stuff. But I kind of want to reassure those folks too that you are within your rights, and you should, because HOAs are needed in certain areas. There's, you know, I'm not doing this to try to say poo-poo HOAs or support HOAs. This is just something a lot of us deal with in certain circles, and I know there's going to be times where you probably dealt with an HOA and you're like, what are these people doing? Are they allowed to do this? This is ridiculous, and I want to check into it. And so I want people to know what you can and cannot expect from an HOA, and what, you know, there's certain things that they're supposed to do, and if they're not, then you need to address that, and vice versa. if they're overstepping their bounds, something needs to be done about that. So you know, get involved in your neighborhoods if you've got some.
Get involved.
Yeah.
So my stepson's HOA is just for the area. It's in the Northeast Heights.
Mm-hmm.
Have some friends in Fort Collins, Colorado. Huge development, HOA. And they have basically their own schools. But they have a community pool. Mm-hmm. They have some community green spaces and parks.
My brother used to live, not now, but years ago. He lived in a community that was very similar to like what you're talking about. They literally had their own community center and pool, and now their HOA fees are about $800 a month. It was as much as a mortgage, but then again, there was a lot more amenities than what I'm paying for an HOA right now.
Yeah. So sometimes, you know, the HOA provides a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that instance, in my stepson's instance, it's just the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
There's no pool. There's no common areas. It's just we want this area to be a certain way.
Sure.
So it depends on the level of amenities.
And each ones are different, too. Some are very, like you said, it's not so much about greenhouses, blue houses. They just want to make sure that the landscape in the community, you know what I mean? It's kind of and each one's different about that. Like for instance, the neighborhood I live in, ours is a little more active because we have community property.
Mm-hmm.
There is a pool there, and anybody knows when you own a pool, insurance, upkeep, there's a lot of expenses.
So do you mow your own lawn, or does the?
I do not. The only thing in my particular neighborhood, I'm responsible for like the 3 feet around my house. And then outside of that, it's on the HOA. So if there's weeds or stuff in the 3 feet around my house, that's on me. But anything outside of that is part of what we pay an HOA fee for.
Okay. In the backyards? What about the backyard? Or is there a backyard?
It's really, I mean, the way it's situated, it's all common ground. I don't really have a front yard, backyard per se. My door technically is on the side of my house. And so I have a courtyard behind me. And then I got my garage and stuff to the front, so it's just a little weird the way it's.
So you don't have a whole lot of yard work you have to worry about. The HOA takes care of that, unless you want to landscape the 3 feet around your house.
Yeah, I've got like rock around it,
flowers.
so I pull the weeds if weeds pop up through there, and if I want to plant flowers in there, then I get to do that. But.
Okay, so that saves you some time and effort. Then, okay, so they're providing a service.
Our HOA, I'm really great with. We got the amenities and things like that. We have a great need for the HOA and all of that stuff. My only thing has ever been with any HOA is standardization. When you get a group of people, and it's usually a different group of people each time, walking around looking at things, and then they'll pick one thing one time, and then as far as things that need to be fixed or stuff like that, and my only issue is like you don't have any standardization there. You need to, you can't tell me one thing's wrong and then come back at the end of the summer and say that's great, but this thing's wrong. It's like, why didn't you tell me that back then? You know, and so to me, that's my only issue. It's like, hey, let's I'm willing to work with you, but pick the plan and give it to me. Don't change it up on me every 2 minutes.
So part of that may be the rules and regs, the covenants are vague. Mm-hmm. That may be part of it. Part of it is different people interpret things differently. Mm-hmm. So, one year maybe somebody's loosey-goosey with the interpretation. Mm-hmm. The next year somebody is like overly committed.
And that's why I was wondering, like, if they're going to enforce things like that, are they obligated to provide a standardization, or do they not have to? I mean, what are they supposed to provide there? Like, say you get throwing liens on it and all, like, well, I'm trying to fix it, but they keep changing it every time. Like, does a homeowner have some recourse there?
Well, again, I think you go to the board.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, last year, somebody said the color of my house is fine. This year, somebody says it's not fine. And so what's the story?
Right.
What's the standard? And I want the same story year after year after year,
Mm-hmm.
not change it on me.
Sure.
So part of that may be the language of the covenants. Again, maybe just how people interpret the covenants.
Right.
So if you got somebody knocking on your door saying, "Hey, Mike, your shrubs are 3.5 feet, over the line, or 6 inches over the line,"
right?
And you say, "Okay, well, let's see your yardstick," and then say, "Okay, that's it." But then if they keep harping on it, then you go to the board. You say, "Okay, board, I want you to meet at my house
Mm-hmm.
and bring your own yardsticks because this person's giving me grief over 6 inches."
Yep.
And eventually you're going to just have to go to the board and say, I want a standard that I can live with and not be changing it month to month to month.
Sure.
Depending on who's walking by the house.
Right. Well, and hopefully that's always, you always work with people. That's always step one in anything you do. This is, if you take no sage advice other than that from this, anytime you have a disagreement or something, someone talk with them first. Always try to get that resolved before you start calling lawyers and everybody else. I've always said that.
Oh, absolutely.
Always try to do that first. Now, if you're not getting the responses of the people on the other side aren't doing their due diligence or responsibility, then it's maybe time to talk to the lawyer and do all that stuff. But please try to work with the people and because 9 times out of 10, they probably didn't realize what was going on or understand it, or they didn't know that was something they were violating, and they're like, oh, well, we'll work to fix that right away. 9 times out of 10, that's how it works out. It's always the 1% where someone has a wild hair or something that turns into a whole thing.
Well, it's always good to go in asking questions and say, hey, I've got a question about this, or I've my question about my shrubs, got a question about my house, my door. If you just go to the board meeting and say, oh my God, and start whining and complaining and demanding, then you're not going to get very far.
Absolutely.
And that's the way it is with anybody. I never have problems with the landlord here because I always come up and say, hi, I want to, paint. I want to replace the carpeting. I want to do something to improve the office. Is that okay?
And 9 times out of 10, he's like, God bless you. Go for it. Thanks, you're raising my property value.
Yeah. But I never say, I hate the color of the paint, or the paint's bad, or the walls are dirty. I don't complain.
Right.
I say, hey, I want to do something to fix it up. And it's like, sure, man, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So it's all in the approach. And the same thing with your HOA, your boss, is nobody wants to hear about problems. They want to hear about solutions. So if you just phrase it the right way, things will go a lot smoother.
Or yeah, exactly. You're right. It's like, instead of doing it this way, you guys should try it this way, and then gives them a choice or an option to think of it that way. Or they could look at it and say, well, I get what you're saying, but there's a reason we don't do it that way, and it's because of this. But either way, you at least understand the logic behind why it's done the way it's done and things like that. So it's always best to work with people all night. But if you do hit those impasses and you need to talk to an attorney, then Matt Bristol's a phone call away from helping you navigate through whatever's going on there. So, but ideally, 9 times out of 10, we don't need to get to the point where we're talking to Matt.
Try to work it out. Yes.
Back to that ounce of prevention thing
right,
we were talking at the very beginning of the conversation.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
I just saw the time. We're running short on time here, so let's do some fact or fiction and stuff before we go and let folks know how to get a hold of you if they didn't take all the sage advice.
Well, in Greek mythology, there was this bad guy and God, and he was chasing this goddess because he had a crush on her, and so he'd chase her all around the heavens and stuff. And so she was pregnant, somebody else's baby, and the more pregnant she got, the slower she ran, and so he would slowly gain on her, and finally she had the baby, so now she's carrying a baby trying to run and not running very fast. And so the bad guy caught up with her, and the baby, she was running, the baby was nursing, and he yanked the baby away and spilled milk all across the sky.
The Milky Way?
That's what's called the Milky Way.
Ah.
And of course, the Greek word for milk is...
I have no idea.
Gala.
Gala. Okay. I'm like, leche? I'm going Spanish.
Gala. That's why they are called
galaxy.
Galaxies. Okay. There you go.
Instead of lechery. Interesting.
Yeah.
Think about that next time you eat a Milky Way candy bar.
That's it.
Why is it always based off bad stuff? The lady got chased down by a crook. Like, you may have a good thing. Like, oh, well, she was handing money and the milk spilled out and went all over the sky.
Yeah.
We need a happy story.
Yeah, so if you get away from town sometime, if it's really dark, and the Milky Way is really awesome to see. It's hard to see when there's lights from the town.
Well, apparently there was a meteor shower last night. I tried to check out about 9 o'clock, but I didn't see anything. So I don't know if I just missed it or...
I saw Starlink last weekend. We were in Albuquerque at the Stepsons, and it was like a caterpillar across the night sky.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
We actually have Starlink for our we don't use it on every broadcast, but sometimes we get out of town for some of our football. We have to bust out the Starlink to get some internet access. So we got one. We got a Star-Lord Starlink.
Awesome.
Of course, if you have any questions or need any legal advice when it comes to family law, family planning, just that kind of stuff, Matt Bristol Law Office can help you out. If you go to bristolllawoffice.com
.net.
Or .net, sorry, I forgot it changed. .net. You can go and read more about all of the different types of law services, things like that. And, of course, if you want to schedule a free consultation to sit down and talk to see if you actually need Matt to do some lawyer stuff for you, he'll be happy to talk you through all that.
You bet.
Talk to him first
Absolutely.
early before you start doing major stuff, because he can fix it before you mess it up.
That's right. An ounce of prevention. Let's get it done early and inexpensively before it gets too bad.
Absolutely.
Give us a call at 65-5284, bristoloffice.net.
Yep.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Enjoyed
Anytime.
it.
We'll see you. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next month with a whole new set of things. So
awesome.
All right, you listen to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell, New Mexico.
Never before have so many Israelis been killed by one single thing, let alone enemy activity on one day. This could be a 9/11 and a Pearl Harbor wrapped into one.
Speaking on the BBC, on the Salem Radio Network, parent company of Town Hall News, nationally syndicated talk show host Mike Gallagher is partnering with the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews to raise emergency relief funds for Israelis. Gallagher says Scripture prompted him to act.
Those who bless Israel, God will bless. Those who curse her, he will curse. This is an enduring promise for everybody, and to know that this holy land has been desecrated by such terrorism really compels Americans to step up and say, how can we help? How can we stand with Israel?
Gallagher adds that every dollar raised will immediately go toward life-saving security and basic needs throughout war-torn Israel. Donations can be made at the website mikeonline.com. Persistent reports that Iran played no small role in planning and helping to execute the deadly attack on its archenemy, and Iran does fund Hamas. This is raising more questions about the Biden administration's recent decision to release $6 billion in frozen Iranian assets. The U.S. is sending more munitions and military hardware to the Jewish state. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is 2 points higher, the NASDAQ down 72 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Now. It is day 3 of what Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu describes as a state of war with Hamas. The Media Line's Felice Friedson.
The death toll has risen to more than 600 men, women, and children in Saturday's Hamas terrorist attack against Israel. The sound of gunfire still echoes inside Israeli communities alongside its borders with the Gaza Strip, where the military is tracking down gunmen and seeking to free some 100 Israelis. Word is that feelers regarding a hostage deal have already begun. The large number of captives is complicating the parameters of the talks. Israeli fighter jets have flown hundreds of sorties against targets in Gaza, including Hamas facilities purposely positioned inside of civilian residential buildings and previously spared for fear of harming Hamas's human shield. I'm Felice Friedson, Town Hall News, Jerusalem.
California Governor Gavin Newsom rejecting a bill that's meant to hold the line on the price of insulin.
The measure would have banned health plans and disability insurance policies from charging more than $35 for a 30-day supply of insulin. The Democrat vetoed the bill because he said it would prompt insurance companies to increase monthly premiums. Newsom noted California has a $50 million contract to produce its own brand of insulin that it would sell for $30. Rhonda Rockstra reporting.
The area around the historic Maui town that was largely destroyed by wildfires 2 months ago has started welcoming back visitors. A move this weekend comes as the mayor and Hawaii's governor push to restart tourism in support of the local economy, despite vocal opposition from some Lahaina residents. No arrest following a deadly weekend shooting at a Western Pennsylvania community center. One person was killed. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5. We do that every hour. Caroline's like, what was that about? Yeah, wait till next hour. He'll come in and do a third one. Mornings with Mike Winters. We actually have a game. It's an unwritten rule game, and it's not so much this hour, it's next hour. So when I say welcome to hour number 3, he's supposed to say Trace Inviernes. I don't know how that came to be. It just did. But if I say hour number Trace, he's supposed to go 3. That's right. I tricked him one time. So it's our little inside game we've been playing for years. So. Inside baseball. It's just something we do. Try to trip each other up. It is. It's the same every day. It doesn't matter. Trace Inviernes. I don't even know what Inviernes means, to be honest. I know Trace. I know 3. That's about it. So something he said years ago, and it just kind of stuck. I hope it's not. I didn't think about that part. Maybe it's something I shouldn't be saying on the radio. I didn't even think about that. But anyway, happy hour number 2, everybody. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I know it's Monday. It's not fun. It's not sexy to be like, oh, it's Monday. But, you know, some are off today. It being Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day, whatever you want to call it, it is the day. So probably not going to have much look at a bank or a post office today. But I think most everything else is open. Schools are open. Of course, they take last Monday off for the fair, which just wrapped up and had a great week of fair. And weather cooperated, surprisingly. I thought we were going to get wet, but it turned out perfectly. And I think everybody had a good time. But now it's back to the normal week of, like, just normal. Like, back to, everyone's, because that's the fair week. Like, it's a week of, like, work and everything, but everyone's kind of, like, not at their job that week. They're most out there either doing their job at the fair or just got time off to get to go to the fair. So it's a different vibe that whole week, fair week. People, it's not quite vacation mode, but people have a bit of a vacation-y mindset because you're like, it's not a normal week. You get to, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I get to wear a cowboy hat to work today. So, it's kind of a day off kind of thing. So, but anyway, back to normal, just back to regular normal and get in line at Starbucks and do your regular routine there. So. But happy Monday. Let me give you the rundown for this hour of the show. We'll get you up to date with the weather here in just a bit. And then here in just a few minutes, we'll have Juanita Jennings, Public Affairs Director for the City of Roswell, and Caroline Brooks, the Roswell Museum and Art Center Director, join us as well. So we got a couple events. Of course, the big event is happening this Saturday is the Science and Art Fair that's happening this Saturday at the Convention and Civic Center. And actually it kind of spills over to the museum and the planetarium. I mean, it's kind of the whole campus of everything right in that area there. So it's more than just really the convention center. It's a whole lot, but it's a fun-filled day of art, STEM, science. So if your kids at heart will love to have to come out and be a part of this. There's going to be so many activities, events. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. But then there's other events coming around. Hence, Juanita's here to kind of fill us in on the rest of them. So we'll talk about those. We'll talk all about that here in just a bit. Later on in the hour, we'll get you up to date with news. We'll try to work in that Cowboys report. Of course, I think a lot of people today they don't need that. They're like, I'm good. I saw last night. I don't need a report on it. And yeah, the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, not the rodeo Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys report, and of course, whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. Before we do any of that, let's take a look at your weather, and actually going to be a little warmer this week for the most part. Although the weekend's cooling down, but this week we're going to see 90s one day. So, a last reminder.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Not much going on over the next couple of days as high pressure centers over southern Colorado and northern New Mexico and western Texas, and that'll keep things sunny today. Mid to upper 80s on the afternoon high. Mid-50s and clear for the overnight hours. Will warm up a few degrees on Tuesday. We're looking at upper 80s for the whole area with sunshine and maybe around 90 by Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Up perfectly. Thank you, Steve. Currently, I scrolled too far up. 55 here in Roswell. Humidity is at 64%. Winds are calm at the moment. Sunny and 87 today. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear tonight. Overnight low of 56. South winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, I love saying this. I'm surprised it enters the weather forecast, but I'm going to say it because it makes me laugh. Isolated sprinkles after 3 o'clock tomorrow. Increasing clouds with a high, not full-on rain, just isolated sprinkles. So get out your ice cream sundaes. Might get some free sprinkles. I'll put on there. 86 tomorrow for a high. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, clear. Overnight low of 57. Wednesday, sunny and 91. That's going to be our warm day on Wednesday. Southwest winds 5 to 10 early, 15 to 24 Wednesday afternoon. Sunny and 86 on Thursday. Friday, I'm going to guess there's wind on Thursday because we're going to go from 86 on Thursday to 73 for a high on Friday. So that's like a 13-degree drop. So usually that means wind's involved when that happens. And then Saturday, sunny and 72, and then we're back up near 80 on Sunday. All sunny skies there. All right, it is 8:12. We're going to take a 3-minute break, and then we will talk city and museum and all in between here next. Don't go away.
Attention Roswell and surrounding areas. The time to trade up is now at Roswell Ford. Because now through the end of the month, Roswell Ford will take any trade, any condition, even if you owe thousands more than your car's value. And with a lot full of amazing deals, you can trade up and save big. Get 0 down, no payments for 90 days, and 0% on select new Ford models. With a job bringing home just $3.99 a week, Roswell Ford's aggressive lenders will push to approve your credit, even with bad credit or no credit. Check out a special edition Ford F-150 Raptor R, a 75th anniversary crew cab 4x4, a 2023 Ford Raptor Bronco, 2023 Ford F-150 Platinum Edition, and the new 2023 Ford F-150 Tremor. Now is the time to trade up. Head for Roswell Ford, the home of Tailgate Nation at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keon at Carabelli Dental. Same-day smiles are what we do. My passion is helping patients chew, talk, and live with confidence. That's why I'm one of the few doctors in the U.S. who can create beautiful same-day smiles with the latest digital implant technology. This procedure is life-changing. Just ask Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I've been that voice that you've heard on the radio for most of my life, but I'm also a dad to 2 amazing kids. I've had a million reasons to smile, but in all my old pictures, I was never smiling. Truth is that life of improper care and being dealt a bad hand genetically left me practically with no teeth. It affected everything from the way I ate, the way I talked, and of course how I interacted with people. And that's where Dr. Keon and Carabelli stepped in. They eased my fears. They explained every step of the process in a way that I could understand, and they made me feel almost like I was part of the team. And now, I can't stop smiling. I have so much more confidence, and I love looking in the mirror now. I can't explain how much of a difference Dr. Keon's dental implant process made for me.
Our team can help you find your smile too. Come see us at Carabelli Dental, 575-622-4455.
If you or someone you love is dealing with addiction, it's time to stop suffering and start Celebrating Recovery. Celebrate Recovery is a program designed to guide you step by step through the process of breaking free from your hurts, habits, and hang-ups and find hope and strength in recovery. A new cycle of step studies begins Monday, October 9th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Grace Community Church, 935 West Mescalero Road in Roswell. If you want more information, call 575-623-5438 or come by Celebrate Recovery at Grace Community Church, 935 West Mescalero Road, every Friday night beginning at 5.
The Fergalicious boys can keep you hot this winter. Fergalicious. Oh yeah, it's getting cold out there, and Fergie's Plumbing and Heating has what you need to keep things hot in your home. They can come by and winterize your pipes and check your insulation, and you know they'll do it with nothing but love. Oh yeah, baby. Call the Fergalicious boys at Fergie's Plumbing and Heating at 622-2660. When you need it hot, Fergie's is on the job. Fergalicious.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. A group of 12 or more cows is called a flink. If you have only 11 cows, that's called a lot of cow pies. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 16 minutes after 8 o'clock, and now officially joining us in studio this morning from the city of Roswell, of course, Museum Director Caroline Brooks and Public Affairs Director Juanita Jennings back with us. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning. Good morning.
How was your weekends?
Great. Went to the fair.
Went to the fair?
Yeah.
Weather was nice.
It was beautiful.
Nice. And so I'm curious, do you have a go-to food at the fair? Like, I'm not leaving these fairgrounds before I don't put this in my mouth. Is there a certain food?
My husband's 6-year-old went after the cotton candy.
You can't go wrong with cotton candy.
Yep.
And it kind of feels light, so you can eat a bunch of it too, and you don't feel slowed
We got
down.
the jumbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't feel slowed down by it. Like you hit a turkey leg, and you're feeling a little sluggish by the end of that. But not so much with the cotton candy.
Yeah.
What about you, Juanita?
Funnel cake all the way.
Now, what's your topping of choice?
Well, I just like the regular one.
OG. Yeah, nothing wrong with the powdered sugar.
And
the other ones are a little too fancy.
Yes.
Well, and it does decrease mobility when you add fruit. Like now you got to be careful.
Mhm.
With like just the powdered sugar, you can kind of navigate the crowds without worrying about getting stuff in place.
Just don't wear black.
Yeah.
And the Bavarian cream now they add to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And ice cream.
Oh,
that's my go-to. I hit that ice cream booth,
Yeah.
and I either get a milkshake or a cone,
Yeah.
or both, depending on how savage I'm feeling that particular day. But yeah, and the trailer that we do our show out of is right near it, so it's always like a quick.
Yeah.
All right. Quick hop for an ice cream cone. I'll be back.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah. So that's one thing I'm going to miss about. We don't get that anymore this week. I'm not 10 feet from an ice cream cone anymore. So, oh well. But if you're still looking for plenty of stuff to do, we've got you covered here. Of course, I think we'll start with this Saturday event here first with Caroline. The museum and the city have put together an awesome science and art festival. It's going to be taking place this Saturday, pretty much all day, starting at 10 a.m. till go about. So it actually starts about the time the eclipse kind of is doing its show. And it'll go till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And this is going to be a fun-filled day of art, science, fun, activities, games. There's a little something for everybody at this. And so, if you love doing arts and crafts with the kids, there's going to be a ton of those kinds of projects. If you want to learn, like NASA's going to be there, right?
NASA's going to be
So
there.
if you want to learn about the solar eclipse and what you're looking at and obviously see it and all that stuff, there's going to be a few people that might know exactly how to help you at the event on Saturday here too. So kind of talk a little bit about some of the fun stuff that you're going to I'm not going to lie, you're going to have to pick and choose. There's so much there that you're like, all right, we're going to have to plot and plan to make sure we get everything done.
There's over 40 activities.
Yeah,
this is a big one this year.
And you only got 6 hours to get them in done.
Exactly. Yeah, but picking and choosing is great. And part of the event, too, is we're really showcasing what our region, what our community has to offer. So it's not just about the Roswell Museum. It's about what all these other groups are doing. And so we bring them all together.
Yeah.
And so we're having
kind of like Museum Day was about a month ago
exactly.
here. Which I was a huge success. I'm pretty sure every museum that participated had record numbers of visitors that day. And which means if you missed it,
Gotta wait a year. It'll be the second. We'll do it next year.
There will be a second annual and a third and hopefully a 12th or 15th or a 75th annual. That's the plan.
Yeah, no, that was a hit.
But then again, if you missed out on that, here's a chance to get a little kind of a taste of kind of some of that.
Yeah, but we'll have multiple schools participating, museums. Again, NASA's going to be there. Our Goddard Planetarium staff are going to be on site. We're also premiering a show that day, Tales of a Time Traveler. So that's a new planetarium show.
Okay.
And that'll be free in the afternoon at 1, 3, and 5.
Perfect. So if you want to see it free here and get a sneak peek.
Yeah, but again, we always try to think outside the box for this festival. So we have a magic fort building in the patio, which will be really cool. We can build this really great fort that people can go through with all these colors and everything.
Is it pillow or wood or?
No, it's plastic and fabric and paper and all these connectors.
So it's a hodgepodge of materials.
It is. It's very creative.
Nice.
And we're also premiering the museum's acquiring big blue blocks.
Okay.
Which are these huge
Say
building
that three
blocks.
times fast.
I know, right? But it's the first time we're going to have those, which are these really large blocks that our foundation's purchasing for us.
Nice.
They're like 4 feet.
So if you like building and all that,
exactly,
this is like life size for these kids. So they're really going to like it. So
and
they're not stepping on your foot and hurting your toe.
I hope not. No, these are lightweight. And Explora's coming down from Albuquerque. And with them, we always do something called Tinker Tots.
Okay.
And so it's an all ages event, but you always have to think of the littles too, because some of the activities are really geared for like 7, 8, 10-year-olds.
And they're really at that phase where they're developing their motor skills and things. So interacting and working with their hands and stuff is very important at that.
Yeah. So they'll be there, and we'll also have ENMUR. They made their own inflatable planetarium.
Oh, nice.
So we'll be featuring that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how that works. That's kind of a neat concept.
Like plastic and fans, and it makes a huge environment that you walk into.
Okay.
And then they project on the ceiling of it. It's
DIY planetarium.
It is. It's 40 feet, so it's a DIY on the giant scale.
How cool is that?
Yeah. And then we'll have Plateau's gaming trailer there, which will be a lot of fun. Yeah. So take a break from all the like science STEM stuff and just kind of like break yourself out and do some games.
Immerse into a world of gaming or
exactly.
zombies or whatever particular games go in that particular moment.
Yeah, I'm sure they're very family friendly games, but absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well yeah, they get the sports or whatever. They've got a bunch of them there.
And this is the 4th year that we've done this style of festival. We've done festivals for decades, but 4 years now that we've been doing the Science and Art Festival. And the Institute, New Mexico Military Institute, has been a part of it the entire time. So
they know a thing or two about teaching and learning.
They do. So their science and mathematics division, they're coming down. They bring a ton of cadets, and they handle a lot of our Make Lab area.
Absolutely. Well, they got a lot going on over there too.
They do.
Like they're working like nationally at different science conventions and things, and some of those kids are working on patents for like they could turn this into money making all through STEM, science and math and engineering.
But
a
real shout out to Mia Yang, who's just really
she's part of that
absolutely
group I'm talking about.
She really leads them.
Yeah, they do. We've had them on the radio a couple times, and great kids, but great stuff they're doing over there. So all of this is kind of more of that is what's going on here.
Yeah, and there's a ton of groups coming, including Hawks Aloft, which is a conservation group that educate people about raptors.
Okay.
And so they'll be bringing a couple of raptors down to show people.
So wildlife will be there.
There will be.
Come. And that's the best time. You don't want to see hawks and raptors and things. This is when you want to see them, when they're in, if you're out in the bout, they're either hunting you or just flying and you want to leave them alone. So this is a safer situation to see a bird of prey.
Yeah. But it's really an all-day event. So
Yeah,
starting
it's
with
all
the
fun.
eclipse in the morning, and just, you can take your time and go through the different activities.
And you'll have the glasses and stuff there.
We do. We'll have the glasses.
If you need
Free.
and please do not look up at the thing without the glasses.
Exactly.
That's get you the glasses. We hate to make your Saturday going to the hospital fixing or getting your
Yeah.
eyes treated because you looked at the thing the wrong way. So.
Yeah, but we have plenty of glasses to give out for free,
Yeah.
and the whole event is free.
Absolutely. It's
So-
free admission. Just bring yourselves, your family. Come on out. It gets underway officially at 10 a.m. Get there a few minutes early, get you parked, get you settled. There'll be plenty of food opportunities, plenty of games, plenty of things to do. If you're going to have probably trouble fitting all the events in the 6-hour window that you have to do
And
it.
just briefly, I want to thank Excel Energy Foundation and the Roswell Museum and Art Center Foundation. They're the ones that really help support this financially.
Without their support, there is no Science and
There
Art
is no
Festival.
festival.
There is
yeah.
festival.
So we really appreciate them.
Yeah, so it's this Saturday. We've been talking about it for a few weeks. It's this Saturday. Please get involved. If you have questions, too, about other stuff, I know Kathy Lay, Keep Roswell Beautiful, Volunteer Outreach, she's doing a lot of stuff.
Yep.
She's looking for volunteers and things to be a part of not only this event, but other stuff, too.
Yes.
Reach out to her, and she'll help you. You want to talk about STEM? She's got some STEM projects for you if you're looking for some STEM projects. But it's really great. And come by the museum, too. And even if you're not available this weekend, obviously the second Saturday of every month, that's the free day at the museum. So you can, and there's always every free day, there's a big event craft and thing for your families to
Free
come enjoy.
planetarium show.
So just get your little calendar, if you put it on the fridge or keep it on your phone, whatever you do, and just kind of block out every second Saturday morning that's museum day. And then the zoo one's the week before. I think that's Saturday, Saturday
The first
before.
Saturday of the month,
Yeah,
I
the
believe,
first
yeah.
Saturday of the month. I don't have kids, so I kind of go off the top of my head.
But
These
it's
are-
not just for kids; it's for you too.
I know, but
You gotta
And same
come-
with the festival.
Yeah.
Like
most
there-
people are
there's a
looking for
focus-
this stuff for
yeah.
kids to do.
Yes.
And so
Yeah.
these are things that are provided to you free of charge and
Yes.
a part of just being, same with the Recreation Aquatic Center. There's always events and things going on there. The city has plenty of free stuff for you to get involved with here. The Science and Art Festival this Saturday is just kind of the tip of the iceberg of some of this stuff here.
Yeah.
So please mark on your calendars this Saturday. All ages.
All ages.
Like if you
yeah.
got the kids that barely walk, they're going to
Yep.
have fun. To your teenage boys and girls, they're going to find a bunch of stuff out there to enjoy too. But it'll go. It's come and go from 10 a.m. to 4. But like I said, especially if you want to get in on the NASA stuff and the eclipse and all that, you want to be there around the 10 o'clock. Because that's where by 11:45 or so, that's all over with. So.
Right. So the maximum of the eclipse is at 10:41, and it lasts about 4 minutes. And we'll get it's the annular eclipse, which means it's the ring of fire
Yes.
that we'll see. And Roswell is
So
one
many
of the,
Johnny Cash references.
I
in
know,
the next
right?
couple of days.
But this is one of the best locations in the U.S. to see this around the
kind of
world.
lucked out here.
We did.
Living in the middle of nowhere basically gave us the best viewing for this Ring of Fire eclipse this Saturday. So please, even if you can't make it to this event, get you a good spot on Saturday because you're in a prime viewing location.
And get
here.
your glasses.
And
Get
get
your
the
glasses,
glasses.
yes.
Do not try to look at it without the glasses. Don't do the hand thing. You ain't an Inuit that's skilled at that stuff. So make sure you do it the right. Just get the glasses.
Yes.
So that's this Saturday.
Yep.
And then, of course, if you want to learn more about becoming a member of the museum or want to learn more about any of the monthly activities or just getting involved in all that stuff, Caroline, and there'll be plenty of staff there that can kind of talk to you more about, if you want to get involved volunteering or any of that side of the thing, because we are blessed to have such great amenities like that Roswell Museum and Art Center and the planetarium and the zoo, and that we have a town of this size, we have a lot of amenities that most towns of this size do not get to enjoy. Part of it's because we're on an island and we're a destination place, and I get all that. But that being said, take advantage of it. That's why it's here. It's there for you. If you're raising a family in this town and you say there's nothing to do, it's because you're not trying to find it. There really is. To be honest, I think it's the opposite. You're going to have to, every weekend in this town, if you've got a family with kids and everything, you're going to have to pick and choose the things you want to do because there really is that much going on if you are out there looking for it. It's just so much between the city, private organizations, churches. I mean, every weekend there's 30 events going on, and as someone, and you guys know because you're in planning meetings for events and stuff. Every time there's an event being planned, how many times like, all right, well, what's going on that weekend?
We always do that.
How many events?
Yeah.
What's going on? Because there's so much going on here. So please get involved. Come on out. I guarantee if you bring your family out Saturday, even if you don't have kids and you're just looking for mom and dad, or a couple, hey, let's go check it out. You're going to be equally entertained. You don't have to have a kid to come have fun either, too. Don't get me wrong. If you love science and NASA and want to talk to the NASA folks, or you want to learn more about some of the planetarium stuff or some of the artwork and art and decor at the museum, all of that is part of the Science and Art Day, too. It's not just for the little kids. It's for everybody. So come, and if you've never been to the museum, pick Saturday as a day to walk and stroll. Every side of that museum is a different experience. It's you go in one area and you're in a whole different world than the other area. That's the beauty of that museum is like, there is no way to pigeonhole it because every room is a different thing.
Constantly changes.
Yeah. And we just had a new exhibition open this last Friday. Susan Marie Dopp. It's called Lacewing, based off of the lacewing moth.
Okay.
And she's using like light and transparency and movement. It's a beautiful installation.
Speaking of science and art working hand in hand.
And so that'll be free to see this weekend as well.
Good deal. So please make some time. Come on out. And if you want to become a member, it's a great way to support the museum. Membership does have perks. You do, it's like any other.
It's free every day.
Be in the club and all that. But you get some perks for that too, and opportunities that maybe sometimes the general public doesn't get to be a part of. All that's kind of perks of being that. But you're supporting and helping to continue that the next generation of people have that beautiful museum to come and visit too. So. Good deal. So, did we cover everything for Saturday?
We did.
All right, and then some. Is there anything else we want to make sure we cover before we turn over?
We always have things coming up, but I'll come another time to talk to you about.
We'll get you
those.
back in.
Yeah.
Good news is, Caroline, the museum's only right up the street.
It doesn't take
right
very long to get here. It's true.
Now, Juanita, that's this weekend, but we got a bunch of other things over the next course of the several weeks here.
We do.
That we want to put on your radar. Obviously, with the Halloween season right around the corner, there's going to be a ton of events going on over the next couple of weeks for celebrations and things like that, too.
Yeah, so the next one after the museum is actually the library.
Yes.
So Dia de los Muertos
Speaking of the Halloween time period, and if you've never gone to the Dia de los Muertos celebration at the library, you got to make at least one trip to that.
Yes.
I always botch this. La Llorona, I think I might be. Yeah, I butcher the story of that, and to hear all the because someone who grew up in Maryland and not familiar with Dia de los Muertos and coming here and seeing the sugar skulls and the art, the whole just the artwork and everything that's kind of associated. I was like, this is really cool, but I don't know the tradition. It's kind of it's a little scary if you don't know the tradition, but then you hear the story, and that's what the library they do the story, they do arts and crafts. It's for kids, but the adults gain just as much as the kids do. And so if you've not been to the library's Dia de los Muertos event, every Roswellian should go there at least one time to experience the culture and understand the heritage and everything that goes, because it's a neat story. It's kind of a beautiful event once you understand it. From the outside looking in, you're like, what the heck is going on? But once you get it, you're like, it's kind of like Zozobra, when they do the burning of Zozobra every year. Being from Maryland, I was like, well, they burn a big paper mache witch dude every year. What's going on here? But then you hear what it's about and all that, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Dia de los Muertos is very much
the
same
tradition.
thing.
It's celebrating the culture.
Yeah.
It'll be on Saturday, October 28th,
All right,
starting
so
at 10 o'clock at the library.
Right there in that holiday weekend.
Yes. Lots of things happening on that Saturday, the 28th. So make sure that you mark your calendar for 10 a.m. at the Roswell Public
Trust
Library.
me, you got to do at least one. If you've never been before,
Yes.
go. It's free. You don't have to RSVP. It's come and go. But get there early.
Yes.
Because there's so many things at the few-hour window you got to really get all to hear the story, to make sugar skulls, to eat till you walk out of there hurting. All of that, you need time.
Yes. So definitely come on out. There, like I said, there'll be the altar. They're going to have a story time in English and in Spanish, and they're really covering again the culture of why and the purpose of what is Dia de los Muertos. So if you're not familiar with it, please come on out and enjoy the Roswell Public Library Saturday, October 28th at 10 o'clock.
Broaden your world. And the Dia de los Muertos is one of those things. You gotta, to see how your world is. That's one facet you need to check out. And if you're not grew up in the culture, do not know it, it's a beautiful thing that I think you really. It all goes back to this family. And you look at our Roswell culture, and you talk, sure we're not perfect, but when there's stuff going on, or when people or someone in need, this town rallies. And I feel like Dia de los Muertos and all that is another layer of that fabric you pull back to see why it's like that. You know what I mean? It's like, why is this comedian these layers? And Dia de los Muertos, believe it or not, I think is all part of those layers of why family, community, and all that too. So if you want to kind of peel back the onion layers and see why Roswell's the way it is, Dia de los Muertos is very much a part of it. So come be a part.
So that's Saturday.
All
then we're going through the weekend and we're preparing for Halloween, which is on October 31st. So this year we're gearing up for our fall festival again that will be at the Roswell Convention Center.
It's always a big event.
Big event.
If you walk out of there with no candy, it's your own dang fault.
Oh, there's lots of candy.
I don't think it's possible to walk out without any candy.
There's so much candy.
You tried not to if you did.
There's so much candy. But it'll start at 4 o'clock in the parking lot.
Yes.
So we're going to have all of our police vehicles, the SWAT unit, some fire trucks. We're going to have a fun little obstacle course in the courtyard this year. So we have this brand new courtyard. There's going to be some fun games.
Okay.
And then we will open the doors to the convention center at 5:30.
Okay.
There is no line. So a lot of times it's so crazy. All of these events that we have, people start forming these lines and it's like they move like cattle and it's like, no, just disperse because there's so much in there.
Right.
There's going to be so many games.
You don't have to do it in order. You don't have
to do it in order.
Just get to your spot you want to do first and then, get back and do it again if you want, whatever you want to do. So
we're going to have a tiny tot room because a lot of times there's like really scary stuff.
Sure.
And so we don't want the littles getting frightened.
So something a little more fun and less, I don't know, evoking more feelings and, get less stimulants in there. Right? Kids could kind of chill out a little bit.
And we're also going to have a place. So the library is actually doing their Till Pumpkin. So for those that can't have sugar and those that need something a little bit different, please stop by their booth. We will also have other partners that are going to have booths there. If you're interested in having a booth at Fall Festival.
Still got time.
Still have time. Please contact our office at 575-624-6700.
And if you want to do stuff, particularly if you want
TJ.
families, you're trying to get, outreach to families and things like that. The Fall Festival is an excellent opportunity because I will tell you this, there will be thousands of families there at the event.
Oh, yes.
And it's a great chance for you to kind of get your information, your face in front of them. So it's a good thing.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we couldn't do it without Waymaker Church. They're providing a lot of the games that will be inside the...
They're the game masters?
They are the game masters. They come up with the most creative games. It's really, really fun, and they have a great group of volunteers.
Waymaker, they find a way to make it...
Yes, they do. And then, of course, our fire department, we're going to have AMR out there. Really want to provide a safe trick-or-treating and outreach event for these kids.
And the kids get to go and come and see the ambulances and the fire trucks and that and the full-size kids too. I know we always say kids, but there's grown-ups that are equally wanting to climb on the fire trucks and blow the whistle. I'm one of them.
Yes.
It's like, what's this button do? I want to do all that too. So.
Yeah. And we also have stuff for teens. So if you're, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, or even in 12th grade, there's going to be stuff for you.
Stuff for that's the too cool for me crowd.
Yes. So come on out. Yeah. Again, it'll start at 4 o'clock in the parking lot. We'll open the doors at 5:30 and then doors will close inside at 7:30 because there's so many people. We have to make sure that we get wrapped up by 8 p.m. So the doors will close at 7:30. So make sure you're in line there. Yeah. And when you get there, just disperse. You don't have to stay in the line.
Hit whatever spot looks
1, 2, 3. There's like 7 rooms that are going to be set up.
Wow.
And so you'll want to check everything out. Yeah. And then, of course, the lobby. There's so much. Candy, treats, information, food.
Come in your costumes and have fun.
Costumes are encouraged. Of course, with the costumes, we do ask no weapons or things like that. Family appropriate, please.
If your kid would be offended by the costume, maybe keep that one at home.
Yes.
And save that for whatever. But whatever you're into.
Yes. But free event for everybody, all ages.
Absolutely.
Come on out. And again, if you are a business and would still like to participate, please give us a call, 575-624-6700. We have until this Friday. So.
Yeah, the deadline is coming up quick. We want
Yeah.
to get and there's a reason for that because there is so much space. I mean, the convention center is huge, but
Yes.
there is so much space, and this is a packed to the gills. This is an all hands on deck. It's a citywide. There'll be thousands of families coming through
Yes.
the building, the facility on the 28th here. So please, 31st. I'm
Halloween
sorry.
night.
Yeah, 28th the
Dia
other
de los
event.
Muertos.
Dia de los Muertos. Sorry,
Nope.
but on Halloween night, make sure you get there early. But
Mhm.
and then have the plan. Keep your kids together. Take pictures, just like the fair.
Yes.
Take pictures of your kid in the costume. So if you do get separated, and you're like, I'm looking for a potato, then it's a little easier to find that particular potato or whatever they are. Going as
It's a good plan.
Yeah, good plan. We will have a lot of volunteers. Our volunteers will have name badges. We also have a lot of security just because of the masks. We want to make sure that everybody is safe and it's a
Absolutely.
safe environment for everybody.
Absolutely.
So we will have some undercover staffing that will be there, and then of course lots of police and fire activity that will be there. So
Absolutely. But have a plan. And another good tip is if you do get separated from your family, pick a designated spot in the convention center, whether it's a front
Absolutely.
door or bathrooms or a piece of artwork, and say, hey, if we all get separated, let's agree we all go back to this painting or we
Yes.
go to the bathroom entrance here, and that'll be your rally point kind of thing. And then you won't have to spend the rest of your night looking for family members, loose family members.
absolutely, and we'll have like the TV screens in the event that somebody is. We could put their picture
Sure.
up. So if you take a picture, that's great. But hopefully we don't.
Yeah,
Ever,
it shouldn't be, but
ever have to
usually
get
when
to
there's
that.
that many people and you get little kids,
Yes.
and there's a lot of things to look and see, and you get distracted. Next, you turn around, mom and dad are gone, and like, where's the kid? He's still
Yes.
looking at the thing over here.
Yes, we're playing games. There's like Frog Leap. There's Splat the Rat. I mean, there's so many games.
If you're bored, it's your own problem because
Yes.
there's literally so much candy, so much fun. It's just a fun Halloween evening of fun and
Yes.
celebration and in a great, clean, safe environment. If you don't, you don't want to go walk the neighborhoods and don't feel comfortable doing that because it's too dark or whatever, it's going to be well lit and everything. You don't have to worry about glow sticks and all that. We'll have plenty of fun, safe environment, and it's rain or shine. So
Rain
if the
or
weather's a
shine.
little salty that day, then the roof of the convention center will protect you.
That's right.
So you don't have to wear your. See, that's the other bummer. Halloween hits that point where you have to wear your big parka coat once in a while.
Yes.
And you're like, now I can't see my costume because I got my parka coat on. No problem.
Yes.
At the convention center. there, too.
Yeah.
Good deal. What else do we want to
Last thing that we want to cover are special events. So if you have a special event, make sure you're submitting it to croswell.com.
Mhm.
Our visitor center staff, they're producing a new event calendar. It's going to be on the website.
And it's free promotion.
It's free promotion. So
Absolutely.
if you have an event, there's a lot of events. Our staff does a really great job trying to pull stuff from websites, from Facebook, from Instagram. But it's all free. It goes on there. You can look at the calendar by a list
Mhm.
or by the month. So whichever you prefer.
And if you
submit
haven't
it.
downloaded the app and everything, please
It's
do.
on there too. Yes.
Yeah, download it. It is just as useful for locals as it is for our tourist community. Cause,
Absolutely.
Businesses, or maybe they're having a special deal or something, or maybe there's a restaurant, Friday night
Yes.
tacos or whatever it is. A lot of times they'll put it through those See Roswell things, and so you, the local, get to learn some of the inside business too, as you do as the
Absolutely.
tourist folks do. So, and vice versa, if you're wanting to promote your business or your organization,
Mhm.
that's what we're talking about here.
Yep.
Is reach out and get in there. It's free of charge.
Free.
Doesn't cost you anything. And a lot of eyeballs do download and visit and see that. So if you're a business, if you're a small business, and I get it. I work in advertising and marketing. I know it's not cheap. It does expensive for a clown like me to show up at your business. It does cost money. Use these free resources. Anytime you can, free promotion for your business. And all you have to do is get the information here to Juanita. That's all you got to do.
Yes.
Why not do that? So make this easy and take advantage. If you're a business owner or a nonprofit organization that has an event that benefits the community and helps yourself too as well, please reach out. And this is the whole idea is for the See Roswell app to be a source of information, whether you're a local or you're coming to visit for the aliens and all the stuff we have here. you're going to find the See Roswell app as a useful tool. So please download it, utilize it, and then if you're like, dang, I should put my business in it. Yes, you should.
Yes.
Reach out to Juanita. Let's get that done.
Yes, because our new 2024 visitor guide is going to have a little bit more information than what we've had, and we're really excited. We've been working on it.
It's going to be like the phone books that they get back east that you put your kids on to sit on. They're going to be that big.
I don't know about that big, but it's definitely thicker. We've been working on it for a couple months, and it'll come out in about a month.
Okay.
We have our first draft, and we did a call out for local businesses that are tourist related. So if you have a tourist related business, please make sure you're submitting that in. Again, our deadline is this Friday because it goes into final production.
So
and
speak now or
printing.
forever hold your peace.
Absolutely.
This Friday. Reach out, call City Hall, or get in touch with Juanita.
Yep.
And she'll tell you.
And we'll have a full campaign that will promote croswell.com. And if you don't want to download the app, let me tell you, there's another way. You can bookmark it on your phone where it just comes up in your Safari, or if you have an Android, same information. You can bookmark the event calendar. It'll always be there. You can sync it to your calendar on your phone, or just look at it online, and then you can write on a calendar if you prefer that way.
Old brains like me.
Well,
and I get it.
I do both.
Well, I
with
get it.
all of my kids' stuff.
I know, but like when I go to an app, sometimes like when you go through and you're like, how do I find this?
Right.
You know, at least you're like, well, if I go to the, Internet Explorer, whatever, the browser.
Yes.
You're like, at least I'm familiar with that. I can scroll and find. So.
Yes.
But young people, they just adapt. People like me are like, I like to look at it this way. I don't care.
Yes.
That shouldn't be there.
And there's two ways to look at the calendar. You can do it in list format, so where it says like day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or the full calendar 1 through 30 or 1 through 31. However you prefer to view it, it's there and available to you. So
very convenient.
Go
very
to croswell.com.
Download the app. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything.
Yep.
And it's a great way to stay in the know and what's kind of going on, and a great tool for you to get what you have to the community. It's great. So if you live here, if you do business here, if you do anything in Roswell, good idea to download that app and keep it handy, because you never know when it might put you onto something that might be beneficial for your family, your business. It's
Absolutely.
Really good. So, and it's like I said, it's free. It's free tool for you to get your information to people. Why would you not take advantage?
Yes.
Good deal. What else? That cover
I think that's covered it for this week, but we'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week here. If you go a couple different ways. If you go to RoswellConnect.com, that's kind of the recreation side of everything Roswell. So if you want to get museum passes, or if you want to get aquatic center recreation passes, or the zoo stuff, if there's special events at any of these, generally you get tickets through the Roswell Connect website. That's a great resource if you want to learn anything about the recreation side of Roswell when it comes to museums, the culture and recreation side. Roswell-nm.gov, that's the official city government website. Yes. If you want to pay your water bill, if you want to learn who your city councilor is, if you want to know when the next planning and zoning meeting is, if you want to see how what amenities, or if you've got trash pickup questions or anything city infrastructure related or city government related, that's that. But if you're looking to swim or look at art or have fun, it's the Roswell Connect website. That's where you go for all of that. And then the See Roswell app will put you where you need to go. There's links to either of those.
See Roswell's where to be. Yeah. It'll connect you where you need to be.
Yeah, good deal. Good deal. Well, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
I'm sure you got about 10 things else. And so do you ever get days where you just get to like sit in there and just like create the exhibit? Like I think that would be the cool, like if I was going to be a museum curator kind of thing, like I think the cool part of that job is me alone in the museum making the night at the museum, not when they come to live and everything, but just that moment where you're like, oh, I want to create, like you're creating the art and not the art, but how to display it.
It's a different part of your brain that you're using, and just like how does it feel, and how people are going to experience it. There's moments, and sometimes I'll work till midnight helping install an exhibition. It happens.
And I imagine
hopefully it's during the day most of the time.
You probably second guess yourself 10 times, like, does that look good there? I don't know.
You just have to have some confidence. You just kind of run with it.
See, that's my problem. I'll be like, look at it and I'll be like, would have been better over there. And then I play that mental gymnastics in my head for an hour. So, but to me, that would be the fun part of the job. Like that would be the part where you just kind of get to create and your vision.
It's a little interior decorating. This goes here, that goes there.
But imagine not everybody gets to do that for a museum. They get to do it for a bedroom or a flaming room. They don't get to do it for a museum. Feels more official.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Well, thank you, ladies. I appreciate it. We'll see y'all next time. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, it is 8:48. Let's pause for news. And guess what? We got time to get that Cowboys report in. So good news for you guys. And then we'll take a quick break. We'll be back. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Now for your Pecos Valley News update, I'm Jared Cirillo. Mac Chase was remembered on Friday as one of Artesia's greatest superstars, a title that he would have most assuredly rejected. Chase was remembered for his successes in the oil and gas and agriculture industries, and then later in life for his philanthropic endeavors throughout the region. Growing up poor, Chase was remembered for knowing the value of a dollar. He served in the military and returned back to his roots here in Artesia after serving during the Korean War. The city of Artesia is announcing a temporary facility closure and a permanent change to a section of North 3rd Street. Over the next 2 weeks, the shelter at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Recreation Complex will be closed to replace some broken concrete. Also, starting October 25th, a section of North 3rd Street from Main to West Texas Avenue will permanently become a one-way street headed north. The city says the change is being made to create more parking in the area. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
If you plug your nose, you can't tell the difference between an apple, potato, and an onion. Unless you open your eyes. Here's Mike Winters.
Hi, everyone. With your Cowboys report, I'm Christy Scales. The 49ers whipped the boys 42-10 in front of a national audience last night. The ugly details after this.
Becky Hammond on being the first woman to coach in the NBA.
What if it's no big deal that I'm a woman? What if it's about striving for excellence and being the best me without the label?
It's not about where others say you should be. It's about where you want to go. It's about a financial services company that focuses on your measures of success. Whether it's for your home or business, we offer personalized service and expert advice to help you achieve your unique goals.
Visit swbc.com for financial services without the labels.
Cowboys Nation is big because everything's bigger in Texas. And Reliant has the energy to power it all. From home field advantage to home sweet home, Reliant has Dallas Cowboys fans all across the Lone Star State covered for every electric moment this season and beyond. Reliant, proud to be the official energy provider of your Dallas Cowboys.
Reliant, PUCT number 10007.
If last night's game at the undefeated 49ers was truly a measuring stick, then Dallas has a long way to go this season. They suffered a beatdown, 42-10. The defense allowed 6 touchdowns, including 3 to tight end George Kittle. Cornerback Stephon Gilmore credits the 49ers play calling and quarterback Brock Purdy for keeping the Dallas defense off balance.
They got a good scheme, getting a lot of bunches, so you can't really, they motion a lot, so they got a good scheme, and we didn't play it to the best of our ability.
The only Cowboys touchdown came on a catch by Cavante Turpin, who later left the game with an ankle injury. And adding further injury to insult, linebacker Leighton Vander Esch also left the game with a neck injury. With your Cowboys report, I'm Christy Scales.
Weather this hour is brought to you by Big O Tires in Roswell. Now through October 29th, save $100 instantly on select sets of tires at Big O Tires in Roswell. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Not much going on over the next couple of days as high pressure centers over southern Colorado and northern New Mexico and western Texas, and that'll keep things sunny today. Mid to upper 80s on the afternoon high. Mid-50s and clear for the overnight hours. Will warm up a few degrees on Tuesday. We're looking at upper 80s for the whole area with sunshine and maybe around 90 by Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. President Joe Biden is happy about the September jobs report that showed the U.S. economy added 336,000 jobs last month. Mr. Biden said the economic progress was no accident. The United Auto Workers held off on additional strikes against Detroit 3 auto plants on Friday, citing progress in talks, particularly with General Motors, which eliminated a major sticking point in talks by allowing workers at joint venture battery plants to be covered by a labor agreement. U.S. gasoline prices are heading south and may hit $3 a gallon in many places in the coming weeks, with crude oil futures down $10 a barrel over economic fears and eroding demand. The Senate's number 2 Democrat, Dick Durbin, is asking the CEOs of United Airlines and American Airlines to answer questions on rising passenger complaints and higher ticket prices and fees. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
You've heard of a Four Seasons room, but have you heard of a Four Seasons window? Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing and Windows. It might surprise you to learn many windows are built to handle only the cold or only the heat, but not both. In Southeast New Mexico, one or the other doesn't cut it. That's why Trustmark windows are built to handle our Four Seasons climate. The scorching summers, the bone-chilling winters, and everything in between. Special glass coating blocks extreme UV rays. A stout frame prevents warping from the extreme weather changes, and insulated glass is like putting your home in a giant styrofoam cooler in the winter and keeps cold out and warmth in. And in the summer, it keeps heat out and cool in. For our Four Seasons weather, get Four Seasons windows. Call today for your no-obligation spring window assessment, 575-755-7663, or visit TrustmarkRoofPros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Listen up, golfers. Pecos Valley Production presents the first annual Dairy to Dank Golf Tournament, Saturday, October 14th at the Spring River Golf Course. This 3-person scramble begins at 11 a.m. with a shotgun start at noon. It's only $450 per team, including food, drinks, and beer. A portion of the proceeds to benefit the Anita Silas Memorial Fund, supporting breast cancer awareness. Sponsorships are available. Contact Maria Sosa at 575-914-2732 for more information and to get signed up. The first annual Dairy to Dank Golf Tournament, Saturday, October 14th at the Spring River Golf Course in Roswell. Sponsored by Pecos Valley Production, hitting the green since 2016.
Do you struggle with acne, eczema, or worry about skin cancer? Research suggests that 1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer by the age of 70, but when detected early, 99% of skin cancer cases are curable. At Epiphany Dermatology of Roswell, we place special emphasis on prevention, screening, and treatment, so schedule your annual skin exam by calling us at 575-208-7050 or by visiting our website at epiphanydermatology.com and get checked today. Prevention is key.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keon at Carabelli Dental. Same-day smiles are what we do. My passion is helping patients chew, talk, and live with confidence. That's why I'm one of the few doctors in the U.S. who can create beautiful same-day smiles with the latest digital implant technology. This procedure is life-changing. Just ask Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I've been that voice that you've heard on the radio for most of my life, but I'm also a dad to 2 amazing kids. I've had a million reasons to smile, but in all my old pictures, I was never smiling. Truth is that life of improper care and being dealt a bad hand genetically left me practically with no teeth. It affected everything from the way I ate, the way I talked, and of course how I interacted with people. And that's where Dr. Keon and Carabelli stepped in. They eased my fears. They explained every step of the process in a way that I could understand, and they made me feel almost like I was part of the team. And now, I can't stop smiling. I have so much more confidence, and I love looking in the mirror now. I can't explain how much of a difference Dr. Keon's dental implant process made for me.
Our team can help you find your smile too. Come see us at Carabelli Dental, 575-622-4455.
Asian Market brings the flavors of the East to Roswell. The market side has lots of new and different items, including new sauces and noodles to enhance your Asian dishes, plus new snacks and more. And the restaurant inside Asian Market has all Nook's favorites from 11 to 5, like wontons, egg drop, rice or noodle soup, crispy calamari, and the best barbecue fried rice in town. Dine in or call ahead for easy pickup. And find Asian Market on Facebook for updates on open times and specials.
Hi, this is Nook. Come see me at Asian Market, 5702 South Main in Roswell. Call 575-840-5309.
If you're missing a tooth or several teeth, a dental implant may be the ultimate solution. Implants look and feel so much like real teeth that you probably forget you have an implant. Maupin & Brown Dentistry is one of New Mexico's most experienced implant providers, with literally thousands of implant patients who are absolutely delighted with the results. Call Maupin & Brown today for an evaluation. You'll be surprised how affordable implants can be. Maupin & Brown, your choice for experienced, state-of-the-art dentistry.
There are 3 key phrases that need to be spoken on a regular basis in a healthy marriage.
Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for the Joy of Marriage.
You know, for over 20 years, Julie and I have been sharing these 3 key phrases, and here they are. I love you, I'm sorry, and I forgive you.
Ephesians 4:32 says, "Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ, God forgave you."
You know, it's so easy to expect others to love us, to say I'm sorry, and to forgive us. But you know, it's really a gift that we give each other. You know, the Bible teaches us we sow and we reap. Sow into your spouse, I love you, I forgive you, I'm sorry. And then you'll reap a harvest in return. Someone has to start the process. Let that be you today so you can really enjoy your marriage.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
A night of music that'll bring you joy. Compassion presents We Are Messengers Where the Joy Is tour with special guest Cochran and Company and Ben Fuller. Sunday, October 15th in Carlsbad at Walter Gerald's Performing Arts Center. We Are Messengers Where the Joy Is tour with Cochran and Company and Ben Fuller. Tickets are available now at wearemessengersmusic.com.
Of all the flowers in the world, pansies get a bad rap. Hi, this is Jim Gill with Roswell Seed Company. The name pansies sound delicate and weak, but in reality, pansies are bold and beautiful. When the frost has killed all the other flowers, pansies start blooming and they'll bloom all winter long, which is why you should come see us at Roswell Seed. We have a greenhouse full of colorful pansies ready to brighten up the coldest winter day. So come get your pansies, and remember, if someone calls you a pansy, take it as a compliment.
No static at all. Your new home for talk radio is KEND Roswell.
An Israeli military official describes the terrorist assault on the Jewish state as a 9/11 and a Pearl Harbor wrapped into one. At least 1,200 people have been killed so far, thousands wounded in a devastating blow for Israel.
It's a small country. You know, proportionally speaking, it's something like 10 or 11 times what America lost on 9/11.
Dr. Michael Oren, a former deputy minister for diplomacy in the Israeli Prime Minister's office. The U.S. is coming to Israel's aid, sending military assets, munitions, and heavy arms to its longtime ally. But the Biden administration is facing Republican criticism that the president is partially to blame for the deadly attack on Israel.
Several 2024 GOP presidential hopefuls point to Joe Biden's recent decision to release $6 billion in blocked Iranian funds to free 5 detained Americans. But the White House pushed back fiercely against the GOP criticism, noting that the unfrozen money has yet to be spent by Iran and can only be used for humanitarian needs.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston. A short time ago, the European Union announced it is immediately suspending aid payments to the Palestinians. Mack truck union workers have gone on strike.
In a letter to Volvo Trucks, the parent company for Mack, United Auto Workers Union President Sean Fain says that results of a count on Sunday found 73% of workers voted against a tentative 5-year contract agreement. Mack Trucks President Stephen Roy says the company is surprised and disappointed that the union chose to strike.
Correspondent Jennifer King. The UAW represents about 4,000 Mack workers in Florida, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. On Wall Street this hour, the Dow is down 123 points, the Nasdaq off 119. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
Senate Majority Leader Schumer has told Chinese President Xi Jinping in a meeting that he is very disappointed by China's failure. He strongly condemned the recent Hamas attack on Israel and shows sympathy for the country and its people. Schumer is leading a delegation of 6 senators to China this week. The delegation includes 3 Democrats and 3 Republicans and is the first visit by U.S. lawmakers since 2019. Comes at a time of growing friction between Beijing and Washington. As far as the war is concerned, a Chinese foreign ministry statement called on both sides to exercise restraint and immediately end hostilities. Flooding triggered by heavy monsoon rains in Myanmar's southern areas has displaced more than 10,000 people, disrupting traffic on the rail lines that connect the country's biggest cities. A senior official at the Ministry of Social Welfare says constant rainfall resulted in heavy flooding. News and analysis, townhall.com. A possible leak has shut down a Baltic Sea gas pipeline.
Finland and Estonia say the undersea Baltic Connector pipeline running between the two countries across the Baltic Sea has been temporarily taken out of service due to a suspected leak. The Finnish and Estonian gas system operators say they noted an unusual drop in pressure in the pipeline shortly before 2 a.m. Sunday local time, after which they shut down the gas flow. The Finnish operators given no reason for the suspected leak, and it's investigating together with its Estonian partner. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
A senior Taliban delegation is visiting western Afghanistan in the wake of the powerful earthquake that killed at least 2,000 people and flattened entire villages. Saturday's magnitude 6.3 quake hit a densely populated area, was followed by strong aftershocks. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to our number 3 of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday.
I heard you smack talking.
About what?
Last hour.
What was I smack talking about?
Hour 3 thing. Invierno.
Oh, yeah. I was explaining.
Winters. Remember Invierno's Winters.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
It's the whole reason for the inception of the game in the first place.
I just remember what it's supposed for. I just know it's a game.
You know I don't speak Spanish.
Exactly. I got my wife last week with that joke.
Really?
With a cat. Yeah. I was standing there. She was sitting in her chair watching TV. And the cat yells at me a lot. Just does. And it wanting food or something. And it was sitting there yelling at me. And I just looked at her and said, you know I don't speak Spanish. What are you telling to tell me? And my wife lost it.
That's great. In English, please.
Actually, I've had... Well, one moment I shouldn't say on the radio. The other one's not bad. But I've just had moments where I caught people off guard over the last couple days.
So there I was, cocktail sauce all over my chest, and I was about to hook up the jumper cables when who should walk in but her dad and her pastor.
Yeah. Well, inadvertently, I think I made one teenage girl laugh, and perhaps a mother creeped out yesterday.
Yes. All right. So there I was.
I was grocery shopping. My wife and I went grocery shopping yesterday. excuse me, we hit the store. And we're just down one of the aisles, doing our thing, getting soup or, just shopping, doing our thing. All of a sudden, I'm hearing something come into the aisle. And I'm at one end, and and our backs are to the other end of the aisle. And I'm hearing this, it is loud. All of a sudden, I hear this girl go, Mom, can we please get a new cart? And I just looked over and said, yeah, you ain't sneaking up on anybody. And the girl laughed. Mom was like, what is he saying? And I don't know. He's like, why is he talking to my daughter?
Right.
I don't know.
If that's the first, what words are you saying to my offspring?
Yeah, they kind of looked at me. What's wrong with that weirdo? and then, of course, what happens when you talk to someone in a grocery store? You see them 37 times every other aisle. And that's exactly what happened the rest of the trip. She would laugh. And then one time I heard her say something. And the girl just looked like she was exhausted. It'll be over soon. She just laughed again. Mom's like, what did he say? So I think I creeped out the mom and made the girl laugh.
Nice.
But the other time was at the fair Saturday night. But the subject matter of said discussion is probably not radio. So I will share that story.
Hey,
what
happens in the booth tends to stay in the booth, or at least it needs to.
Actually, this was at the train part.
Oh, okay.
I said something. Everyone looked like, what? Gene laughed.
My goal, it's really funny. One of the things I really try to do, because it's usually me and Claudia there. What I try to do is right before I go on, just say some really inappropriate stuff to make her laugh, so that when I hit my mic, she's laughing. It's just, that's just a fun little game.
Well, I did that Saturday, but not on the radio.
Right.
So. Yeah, so it's been one of those weekends. But yeah, that girl, it was just funny because after I did it, I enjoyed it, but then I was thinking, oh, I'm sure I'm the creepy old guy that they always talk about. Oh, why is he talking to? And I was like, I'm just being a person. I'm not trying to cause a problem. I just thought it was funny. She's complaining about the cart, and I got it. And you ain't sneaking up on anybody. But anyway, speaking of not sneaking up, we got an interview coming that I don't want to sneak up on you. I want to tell you all about it. Lauren Newman with the Roswell Refuge joined us on Wednesday to give us an update. Talked about their Candlelight Vigil, which is coming up here, and all of that. So we're going to play that interview for you here in just a few minutes.
It's pronounced Candlelight Vigil. Thank you very much.
Yeah, down this part, the Vigil. That's like the John Denver guy. If you remember that when I interviewed him, his last name was Vigil.
Vigil.
Or Vigil, depending on what part of the country he was in at that moment. So, because I asked him, and in the interview, I said, "Are you a Vigil or a Vigil?" And he's like, "Well, it depends on where I'm at."
Which side of the Mason-Dixon am I on?
So just call him John Denver. He's good for that. So from Texas, Colorado, from Detroit. Yeah. So we'll play that interview with Lauren. That's all I have to say about that.
Oh yeah.
Man. So I watched that Cowboy, or at least half of it, till my wife got disgusted about 8:30, and then we moved on to something else for the last hour or so before we went to bed.
Don't you wish the quarterback could do that too? It's like, can we just be done? We're not doing well. Can we just wrap it up, go do something else?
After watching that game last night, this is the observation I have. If Philadelphia Eagle fans think their team's as good as the 49ers, you're not. You're not even close. The 49ers will smoke you if you play them. The 49ers are good.
Dang.
That team that beat the Cowboys last night kicked their butt. They outclassed them. They outplayed them. They beat them. They straight up beat the Cowboys last night. And any Eagles fans out there thinking, because their team's undefeated too, thinking they're as good as the 49ers, you're smoking the biggest bowl of crack I've ever seen. Because that thing is wrong. The Commanders almost beat you in overtime. You should have lost to the Washington Commanders. You should not be undefeated. The fact the fact that you're trying to be in the same sentence as the 49ers right now, you Philly fans are crackheads. There's no way you're even close to the 49ers. Right
Go ahead and make note of today's date.
Yes.
And when Philly does end up beating the 49ers, let's go ahead and call this back and we'll talk.
Bring it. Because
any given Sunday, dude.
That ain't going to happen. The 49ers are good. And the Cowboys just realized how good they're not compared to the 49ers last night. Someone loves you.
I know. I'm blowing up over here. God. trying to hide it under my fattest
All
piece.
them Eagle fans out there thinking they got a team. It ain't the 49ers. After watching them last night, I'm pretty sure the 49ers would mop the floor with the Eagles. Keep doing your little butt shove or whatever it is, the brotherly shove or whatever you call that thing. Yeah. Which everybody's doing now.
Yeah.
Like at these weekend games, there must have been a 37 butt shoves in the games going on. Now everybody's butt shoving until I think the league's going to shut down the butt shove here.
Yeah. Excessive
in the off
celebration.
season. And well, no, what it is it started with Philly and it's called the brotherly shove.
Sure.
And it's this little move where they go to get a first down or a touchdown, and it's a rugby play. And it's pretty much impossible to defend. If you need a yard, it's going to get you the yard for the first down. And no defense has really stopped it yet. And most of the time, and only time it does get stopped is because of offsides or something, a penalty occurred. Right. But I think it's a play they're going to get rid of at some point. It's one of these things they found a wrinkle, and there's a large sect of a group that doesn't like this wrinkle, so it will go away. The owners will make this go away. I guarantee it. But you will see the rest of the season is going to be butt shove city, and everybody's going to be putting a butt shove play in their playbook. I don't know the real name.
I really want a shirt that says butt shove city. Slap a hashtag
well,
before
every team now has their nicknames for it. You know, the brotherly shove or the tush push or whatever they call it.
We don't want to talk about what the Packers call it, right?
But every team's doing it now, and in a league where they're trying to throw the ball 300 times a game, it just seems like a weird thing to do now. But anyway, I mean, I guess if I was a Philly fan and it worked, and I'd be like, yeah, the butt shove's great, but I'm not that.
Yeah, but this is how the game evolves. We discover new loopholes, new ways around rules. That's how the game evolves.
Well, and then it cuts it out, and then they get rid of it.
Sure,
because if it takes away the spirit of the game, which this one.
But they haven't yet. So get as many butt shoves in as you can, while you can, until they change the rules.
Well, and someone's going to figure out a way to stop it. At some point, they'll find the workaround, and then it'll go the way of the. It's like pistol formation. They still use pistol in some. Every offense has a few pistol plays in their playbook. Say that 3 times fast.
Pistol play.
But it's not like that 2012 where RG3 shows up and now we've invented a new form of football and everyone because in 2013 everyone figured out the pistol stuff and it wasn't so fancy anymore. The butt shove will be the same thing. It's just this is the new pistol formation thing. It's the latest fashion and we beat the system. That they won't. They'll fix the system so you don't beat it.
And then we find more workarounds.
Exactly. But the fact that Philly started it makes me all for getting rid of it. Anything Philly starts is a trend we need to get rid of. Yep. I said it.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Go Birds.
All right. We probably should get our interview going. It is 9:16. Let's check in with your weather. A nice week. A little warm, a little wind, a little cool, a little bit of everything.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Not much going on over the next couple of days as high pressure centers over southern Colorado and northern New Mexico and western Texas, and that'll keep things sunny today. Mid to upper 80s on the afternoon high. Mid-50s and clear for the overnight hours. Will warm up a few degrees on Tuesday. We're looking at upper 80s for the whole area with sunshine and maybe around 90 by Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 62 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 52%. Winds currently out of the north at 3 miles per hour. Sunny and 87 for a high today. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear tonight with an overnight low of 56 degrees. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. There is a chance at some isolated sprinkles for you Tuesday afternoon, otherwise increasing clouds and a high of 86 tomorrow. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, clear with an overnight low of 57 degrees. South winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny and 91, our warm day this week. Southwest winds 5 to 10 in the morning, 15 to 20 for Wednesday afternoon. Thursday, sunny and 86 for a high. And then it doesn't mention wind for Thursday and Friday, but I'm going to guess there's going to be wind on Thursday because We're going to go from 86 for a high on Thursday to a high of 73 on Friday. So that's like a 13-degree drop in 24 hours. So usually wind does that. Saturday, we're looking at a high of 72 under sunny skies, and then back up near 80 on Sunday under sunny skies there. All right, it is 18 minutes after 9. We're going to take a quick 2.5-minute break, and then we're going to play our interview with Lauren Newman from the Roswell Refuge on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Listen up, golfers. Pecos Valley Production presents the first annual Dairy to Dank Golf Tournament, Saturday, October 14th at the Spring River Golf Course. This 3-person scramble begins at 11 a.m. with a shotgun start at noon. It's only $450 per team, including food, drinks, and beer. A portion of the proceeds to benefit the Anita Silas Memorial Fund, supporting breast cancer awareness. Sponsorships are available. Contact Maria Sosa at 575-914-2732 for more information and to get signed up. The first annual Dairy to Dank Golf Tournament, Saturday, October 14th at the Spring River Golf Course in Roswell. Sponsored by Pecos Valley Production, hitting the green since 2016.
Do you struggle with acne, eczema, or worry about skin cancer? Research suggests that 1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer by the age of 70, but when detected early, 99% of skin cancer cases are curable. At Epiphany Dermatology of Roswell, we place special emphasis on prevention, screening, and treatment, so schedule your annual skin exam by calling us at 575-208-7050 or by visiting our website at epiphanydermatology.com and get checked today. Prevention is key.
Get your summer grilling on with delicious, homegrown beef from Runyon Cattle Beef. Get top choice, grade A meat in whole, halves, or quarters delivered to your home freezer and experience the difference between store-bought and 100% locally grown Runyon Cattle Beef. Need seasoning? No problem. Runyon Cattle Beef's very own red meat seasoning and cactus salt are included with all beef orders. For pricing, orders, or more information, call Lisa Runyon at 575-760-5655 today.
It takes a long time to develop trust. At LaGrone Funeral Chapel, they've been earning your trust for decades. They understand how important it is to friends and family to celebrate a life in the way you choose. The professionals at LaGrone will ease your stress and anxieties. They'll provide the guidance you need to select a service that's appropriate. And that's what they've been doing for generations, earning your trust and doing the right thing. LaGrone Funeral Chapel and Crematory, 900 South Main in Roswell. Online at LaGroneFuneralChapels.com.
Are you ready to make a real difference in your community? Introducing the New Mexico Army National Guard. Serve your community with pride and become a part-time hero. Join our dedicated team and enjoy the adventure of a lifetime. Get full-time benefits without sacrificing your current career or education. When disaster strikes and your community needs assistance, you'll be there to lend a helping hand. So don't miss out on the opportunity to receive education, adventure, and financial stability, all while serving your country. Get started by calling 1-800-GO-GUARD.
You can't hunt camels in Arizona, but you can buy them. They go for about $10 a pack. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 21 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in the studio this morning from the Roswell Refuge, Lauren Newman back with us.
Hey, good morning.
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Anytime. How is life at the refuge this morning?
Life is good. We've been extremely busy. Like we were talking earlier,
Yeah.
you know, it's we wish we could be put out of business.
It is,
unfortunately for Roswell, it's just we've been busy, man.
Well, and this is the double-edged sword. We're for folks that are not familiar, the Roswell Refuge is really Chaves County's really best resource, only resource for victims of domestic violence. If you are a victim of domestic violence and you need help, whether you need to separate from the situation or you just need to talk to someone, whatever, the folks at the Roswell Refuge, that's what they're there for. They're there to help victims of domestic violence, and partnering with the same program, who is also kind of part of the umbrella there of the refuge family. They help victims of sexual assault. So if a victim's been raped or sexually abused, they help them medically, making sure that they're medically good. If the victim would like to press charges and do the criminal side of it, they are also the ones that help collect evidence and help the victim navigate through that process as well.
Kim Hansen is amazing. She is our sexual assault nurse examiner. She also is a pediatrician and has.
So when she's not helping them, she's helping babies and everybody.
Helping the babies and the kids, and she's just amazing.
That's great.
All around.
We've had her on the show a couple times. She's a great woman, and
she is.
I don't envy her because I'm sure she.
Either.
It takes a real strong soul to be able to do what she does, and she does it amazingly. So I got nothing but respect for that.
Yes, I do too.
Yeah,
it's very hard.
But that being said, this is a place to provide refuge for victims of domestic violence. That's what the refuge does.
Our advocates are amazing at what they do. They are so trauma informed and just victim oriented. When you walk in there, you just, you kind of feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders.
Yeah, it's getting people, and it's breaking circles. And here's the thing too, ultimately that's what they do. They help, but it's so much bigger in that scope. I mean, they have programs where the offenders also can seek treatment and things because we know enough to know that domestic violence is a cycle of violence. More often than not, the abusers were victims themselves as children.
It started at home. They saw it as children. And that's my main focus at the refuge is, we all kind of have our hands in different things to help victims, but I oversee our offender program. And, we love to see remember those JetBlue commercials and you'd see the puff of purple smoke?
Yeah, when they have an idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, 11 weeks when they're in treatment for a year.
The purple smoke
The
pops
purple
up.
smoke. And I say you had that, JetBlue.
Your mind's blown.
Yes. They had this aha moment of, wow, I have been battering my partner.
Sure.
I do have a reason to be here.
And that's why treatment and counseling and these things, because, especially if the more defensive you are about it, it's
a longer process then,
it takes time. And it's the same with the victims too, because the victims, they themselves have created walls, barriers, and things to protect themselves.
They have been stripped away of all their power and control themselves.
Yes. So they got to reestablish that.
Yes, and they're coming into an environment where the advocates are like, here's some power back. What would you like to do today?
Sure. I would even argue that some victims, like if everyone's seen the movie Shawshank Redemption 100 times,
one of my favorites.
I would argue that sometimes victims can be just like the theme in that movie, being institutionalized, where the prisoners have been in there so long they don't know anything else.
Yes.
So therefore, they rather go with the thing they know versus the thing they don't know.
Yes.
And domestic violence is very much the same feeling there. It's like, well, at least I know what's here. I don't know if I'm going to be taken care of if I break away from this.
And you thrive in chaos.
Yeah.
You get that mindset of you're used to the explosion. You're used to the isolation. You very much get used to the honeymoon phase.
Yes.
And you almost live for it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so this is why domestic violence is such a tricky thing, because
it really is.
It hides in the shadows.
Intricate.
It's very dark. Now, thank God, it's night and day different than it was 20, 30 years ago.
Absolutely. We're talking about it.
Yeah.
It's not as taboo as it used to be.
Yeah.
In the 50s and 60s, and, you didn't talk about
exactly. It was none of my business.
Exactly.
It was well, there must be a reason. Whatever it is.
The husband reprimanding his wife, the stay-at-home mother.
Yeah, hear terms like goon hand.
Yes.
And you think that's acceptable.
Absolutely.
And so this is what we're talking. So we have made great strides, I'd say, in the last 20, 30 years.
I think so. We still have a ways to go.
We're light years behind where we need to be.
And October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Yes, this is the big month to raise awareness and to...
I think last time I was here was April, and that's Sexual Assault Awareness Month. So our color is purple for October.
Yeah.
And we are having our annual Candlelight Vigil October 19th.
Yes, at the Anderson Museum.
We are. Man, that is such a cool museum. If you guys haven't been, you have to
go. It is
go.
the most eclectic, fun museum.
And it's huge.
Yeah.
You walk in and you're like, oh, wow, this building really does go on forever.
It is literally something in there for every single person. Like, no matter what you're into, what you like, what you don't like, what you love, what you hate.
So cool. The huge
something in there.
The huge ball of yarn.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow,
it's so
my
eclectic.
cat would love this. But yeah, we're having that October 19th. That is a Thursday.
Yeah. So get there early, maybe tour the museum a little bit or hang around after.
Yeah, come talk to us. Starts at 5:30. We don't think it'll run till 7, but we do have some speakers. I believe our sheriff is going to speak.
Okay. Do you have a few victims that may share stories too as well? Great.
Some impact
and there will be the candlelight vigil and the slideshow and the honoring those that we've lost and celebrating the ones that have broken the cycle and things like that. That's what this event's about. So if you have family that you've lost to domestic violence and you want to share their story or you want to
let's light a candle
remind people and celebrate them, please come to this event. it's an event of all the emotions. There's going to be laughing, crying, singing, anger. It's all of the above.
It's
It
all
literally
there. It is, man.
It's
It's an
mad at why we're
emotional
here.
night.
It is. It really is. But it's as much a healing event as it is an awareness event.
Yes.
So please, we'd love to have folks. If you're impacted in any way, shape, or form by domestic violence,
Just
we'd
stop
love
by
for you
and
to
say
come
hi
by.
if you don't want to stay for the whole thing. Or
And even if you're not, come and see and learn.
touchy-feely emotions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come see and get some resources too. We'll have information. We'll have our brochures ready. You can talk to advocates. You can talk to offender treatment staff. And our director will be there. It's going to be great.
It is something that we all are impacted by, and,
Yes.
and even if you don't realize it, it's something there, and remind folks too.
Mm-hmm.
Come and you bring your family to come and celebrate and remember, but also use this as a teaching moment for your younger folks and say this is why, this is why it's so bad when you see these signs and things. And if you start seeing it, raise the flag, raise the awareness for this. If you see stuff when we're in public, if you're in stores and things and you see something funny, don't just sit there and walk away from it. If you don't feel comfortable, like you don't have to get involved, like actually get in and start breaking up the fight.
No.
But alert the management, alert
we
law
want
enforcement,
you to be safe too.
alert people that are nearby
Call the
so they can
police.
handle it. We're not asking you to be heroes and jump in.
You see something, say something.
Yeah,
I'm
just-
teaching my 6-year-old son this.
Yeah.
And it's a very big lesson, especially to our youth.
Because here's the alternative. If say you do something, you call, authorities come, check it out. Turns out no big deal. Guess what?
You could have saved
Authorities go
someone's life,
away.
though.
People, they might be a little butthurt, but you know what? Everyone's walking home
That's
that day.
okay.
If you don't do nothing, somebody or some people may end up killed
Yes.
over this.
And that's a sad situation.
And unfortunately, with domestic violence, it may be days, years. Usually 9 times out of 10, it ends the same way, going unchecked.
Yes.
And it ends in someone dying.
It
and,
does.
And that's what happens. So please
You
don't.
got to break that silence and speak out.
A little uncomfortable moment right now is
It's
far
temporary.
better than the alternative here. So please be if even if this doesn't touch your world, but be an advocate for the victims. Be that protector as best you can, and you don't have to be the muscle bound person that's ready
you
to
don't
go
have to
fight
break up
and be the you don't need to put on a cape and a superhero thing.
Yes.
But you just be involved. Tell people.
Yes, and
raise
look for
the
those
alarm.
signs too. I mean, maybe you don't know the signs or
Call the
tools.
The Roswell Refuge has a 24/7 hotline
We do.
for folks that can call if you're a victim and want to talk to someone.
Or just want information. Hey,
That's
I have
the other side.
I have a friend and I think she might be being abused. We get that a lot.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
you
if
don't,
you don't
have
know what
to
to
give
do.
personal names. You
Yeah,
don't
it's
have
all
to-
anonymous.
Yeah. But let's talk about those tactics.
Mhm.
Let's talk about, maybe you can talk to your friend.
And it's the same for victims. You're in control of that conversation. If you
You
just
are.
want to bend an ear for an hour,
call
that's
us.
what it's there for. If you're ready to break free from that situation,
Call us.
then the people on the other side of that phone line will help you do that. The ball is in your court for this whole thing. You're in charge.
truly is.
If you want to, even if you're like not ready to break free yet, okay. But we're not leaving you.
Let's help you.
We're going to talk to you. We're going to hopefully encourage you to get the courage and strength to do that at some point. But at least let's get you to a spot where we can keep tabs on you and keep you as safe as possible until you're ready to break free.
I did want to bring something up. So this afternoon, we're having that emergency notification, right, on all our phones.
I think around noon today or so. I can't remember.
So just I was watching some stuff yesterday. In domestic violence situations, sometimes victims have a burner phone or an extra cell phone that they don't, in like a boogie bag type of thing.
So it might be outed today, maybe?
Yes. So turn that phone off. Even if you have it on silent or do not disturb mode, that alert will still go off.
Oh, gotcha.
So if you're in a domestic violence situation, go ahead and just power off that phone.
Yeah.
I believe it's happening at noon today.
It sounds right. Yeah, I'll confirm, but that sounds
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I was seeing something on that. And I was like, wow, that's a good.
I remember it
Let's
was a
turn
year or
those
two
off.
ago when they did this.
Yes.
Or a couple of years ago. I remember. It was when Trump was president, so it was a few years ago.
So it might out some
That
people,
scared the
you know.
living daylights out of me when that thing went off that day. But so again, that should be happening today.
Murphy's
But
Law,
good tip,
yeah.
Lauren. If you do have that phone or that's your contact or your how you please be
and that goes for women and men. Women are not just the victim.
Well, that's just it. Men are victims too.
Yes,
this is not and harder to spot because there's an embarrassment factor.
There is that masculinity.
Yeah, especially if it's a female. That's the abuser on this situation. So it's okay. It's okay. I mean, it doesn't.
And they can call too.
There is no stereotypical victim profile, like there is no stereotypical abuser profile. No, it could be the sweetest, nicest looking little person that's the most abusive person out there.
Elderly lady.
Exactly.
Yes.
There is no.
There is no bounds.
And to be honest, those are worse because in your head, most people are saying, "Well, I just knocked them the heck out."
Right.
And you're like, "Yeah, if it was that easy, then we wouldn't be having a problem now, would we?" It's because. Let's face it. But there's also love and respect somewhere deep down in some of these too. Because a lot of times the people that are abusing you are your mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters. They're people that
very cyclic.
Your family, your husbands,
or you've
wives.
seen it, your whole life, and that's all you know.
There's people that you have history, relationships with, and you just can't walk away. It's not so.
It's deep, when people say, "Oh, she should have just left." It's a lot deeper than that.
And not to mention, it's about power and control. It's not about abuse per se. It's not that they're not beating them because they like beating them. They're beating them because they want the power and control.
Yes, and that's how they get it.
That's how the beatings are a side effect.
And if you have children, if you look for them to monetarily take care of you, and you don't have a line of work or you don't have any skills, it's hard.
Yeah,
very compounded issues.
So they feel like, well, I'm trapped. And
I can't leave.
And that's the whole point of the abuser. They want you to be in complete.
They want you to feel isolated
and controlled by them, because once they do that, they can control you and do what you want, and they're happy.
And sever those ties, isolation, and family,
and sometimes they don't even realize they're doing it nefarious. Like they don't know any better because that's all they've been taught. I'm not saying that's always the case, and I'm not trying to defend.
But it is sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not trying to defend abusers.
No, they don't get a free pass.
But at the same time, you got this is that cycle, that vicious cycle thing we're talking about. Is we got to stop it, and so you do that family by family by getting them in here, breaking that.
Let's talk about those tactics.
So yes, we know what your family members have gone through, and what
sometimes
you
it's stuff we didn't even know we were doing.
Yeah, that's just it. How much of this abuse is we're being abusive and don't realize we're being abusive? I mean, even in our own marriages and things, we're not. I don't think any of us consider us to be
abuse is, one of those main ones.
But how many times have been in an argument and you say something and then you just chalk it up to, oh dang, we're just having an argument. But in the heat of the moment, you said something that you really don't mean. You just say it because you want to evoke a reaction, and you did.
Or you use the kids. A lot of us are divorced.
Yeah.
And we use the kids against, the other parent and co-parenting.
Because it'll evoke that response you want, and so. That's and we all got to learn it. We all got to be better about it. So just because you're not in a meeting about it doesn't mean you don't have to be conscious of it. That's
we all need to be conscious of our.
But that being said, the 19th is going to be a
great event. Please
roller coaster of emotions.
Yes, please come join us.
It's in the Anderson Museum. It's free, doesn't cost. You don't need to RSVP.
Have refreshments.
Yes, if you like refreshments, and if you've never been to the Anderson Museum, come early.
It is. It's a treat.
It
really is.
You're going to be rewarded with a cool experience if you come.
They are so kind to us to donate that to us.
They do, and that's what I love because it's art that's so. Like you're going to see art that's like, why the heck is that even?
Yes.
It's like you're going to get that is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. To why the heck is that even art?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's what I love about it because it's such a gamut of everything, and it forces you to think about those things that you're like, how is this even art?
Right? Like the big thing of yarn. Yeah. I'm like, that's so cool.
But then you start linking and like, how much work that took to do that, and how much craftsmanship involved in that, and it's like. Then you start appreciating it more.
Yes.
But that's that museum does. It evokes that. Same with the Miniatures Museum, which is also part of the Understand. It's a little smaller, so you can't do events in there, hence the miniatures part. But
is that on?
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, right over here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's there. That's also part of the Anderson family.
Oh, okay.
So so when you're done at the Anderson Museum, yes, Richardson. Visit the Miniatures Museum too. They got equally eclectic, cool things, just slightly smaller.
Leslie, our director, she collects many things.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, Leslie needs to be in there.
Yeah,
Leslie.
Little mini things.
She's probably been in there. She's probably a regular.
She probably has.
She's probably a regular. So.
Yeah.
I guess she pops up in those places.
She gets an annual pass or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, she loves the little mini things.
Yeah. So come be a part of this. Come, bring your families, bring everybody.
Come join us.
Let's celebrate.
Talk.
Let's.
You get to meet our board too.
Yeah,
we have some very awesome people that sit on our board.
Speaking of that type of stuff, too, how are you guys doing on volunteering, donations? Because let's face it, for folks that the Roswell
rely
Refuge,
on our community
the
so much.
The Refuge
and we
would not be
appreciate
able
our
to do what they
community.
do without.
We have had a surge. So since COVID and coming back into the office, especially, our shelters always remained open, but
Mhm.
our admin office, we've gotten a surplus of clothing. So Kay, our thrift store manager, that's just one of the many things that she's involved in.
She's been doing for years, too.
Yes,
Yep.
she's wonderful. I asked her yesterday, I said, are we still on a pause of clothing? And she said, yes. So not taking any clothing right now.
Okay. For the thrift store.
For the thrift store. But we do need still those bedding, those
Sheets.
pajamas, those blankets, because they take those things with them.
Sure. Especially kid sizes, too.
Yes.
Don't forget the kids.
Yes, and I was talking to Valerie, our shelter manager, yesterday, and we need transitional items. And I don't think we've ever asked on radio for transitional items.
Okay.
And that's women and families and men that come into shelter, and they've gotten their own housing. They've gotten a job.
So they need
and you see this excitement on my face.
Yeah.
And it gives me,
But they need the
chicken
things to
skin.
make the house a home.
Yes, so they need those microwaves.
Yeah.
And, we're talking used things, guys. We're not talking, it doesn't have to be brand new.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a brand new Keurig.
No, but but in nice working condition,
Sure.
if you have it to spare.
But even things like, so small appliances,
yeah.
blenders, microwaves,
Yes.
coffee pots.
Small, if it's like a nightstand, or maybe you
or maybe
have
those little
some,
griddles. You know?
or maybe you have like a bedroom set.
George Foreman.
Right? The burgers.
The panini press.
Right? The air fryer.
That's right.
Don't get us started. We have a inside joke at Roswell Refuge Admin that we all have, ninja foodies.
Oh, yeah.
And it is like our go-to.
It's like there was a minute there
You
we
can
all
cook anything on that thing.
there was a minute I think we're all trying to outdo each other. Oh,
Yes.
mine's a 9-in-1.
Yes.
Mine's an 11-in-1.
Yeah.
Mine's a
Mine
15-in-1.
dehydrates. I can make beef jerky
I
at
can
midnight.
think about cooking.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yes, those things. And we insert humor because, you
Yeah.
guys, we know this is a taboo situation, but just the faces of these victims that are turning survivors when they see that,
Yeah.
wow, our community cares. They dropped these items off for you. When we have victims that are, moving out and they're turning to survivors, because I say it's like almost a butterfly coming out of the cocoon.
Sure.
They're getting their wings,
They're
baby. They're going to
pupating
fly.
to their next
Yes.
to their next adventure.
They make a wish list. And, I was looking at a wish list yesterday, and those things that they're asking are the basic necessities that you and I have in our homes
Sure.
that have been there for 20 years.
Things you just grab and we're out of it. We'll go to the store and get some more.
And,
Yeah.
when you think about victims and having to escape that domestic violence situation, you don't think of they don't have anything.
Absolutely.
They have the clothes
They
on their
literally
back,
have just what they came in.
or what their children are wearing,
Exactly.
or the diapers and the wipes, and man,
It's
adds up.
no different than, say, like a family that got their house caught on fire and burned
Yes,
it all.
and they
It's
have
literally
nothing.
the same thing. They're
They
they're
have
they're
nothing.
just
Yeah.
not. They don't have.
So of
anything.
course, those full-size toiletries, they
Yeah.
help us so much.
The cleaners, shampoo, conditioners. Think
Yes.
family size on that. The body soaps and
Yes.
soaps like that.
They can lather up the babies too.
Yeah,
you know?
toothpastes, the toothbrushes, all this stuff. Towels,
Yes,
hand
towels
towels, bath towels, sheets, that kind of stuff. That's stuff that they take with them. Cleaners, your Ajaxes and 409s and paper towels and toilet paper.
Yeah, it
all
all
that
adds
stuff
up,
is used.
especially when you get a new home. And
Absolutely.
It's new to you.
Well, you think about it, every time you go to the store, and then you
Yes.
end up like, man, I ended up spending $300. I only meant to spend $50. You know what I mean? That's just what happens.
Or laundry detergent,
Yeah.
fabric softener, fabric sheets.
And here's the cool part too that you touched on before is we had mentioned that these victims built walls, they build defenses, and part of that is to isolate, to not
Protect.
to not really
Protect
come forth
themselves.
with their personality and talk with you.
Yes.
They're kind of like, I'm going to watch you to see
I don't
if
know
you're
if
a
I can
predator or
trust
not.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so when people that don't know them from Adam come up and hand them stuff.
Yeah, here's a
So
goodie
this
bag.
is for you.
Yes.
It breaks down that wall.
It
It cracks away at it.
It does.
It lets them
And
realize.
they're kind of looking at you like, why are you giving me this? Is this an alternative motive? you know?
Absolutely.
And you're like, no, it's okay. Take it.
Yeah,
And
they
they're
start
like,
to get a
"No."
sense of
Yes.
humanity again, and realize that not every person has an agenda and wants
does.
something from them. They just want to make sure they're taken care of,
just wanna
safe and
help.
happy. And And you don't understand when that back to that purple moment exploding.
The jet blue.
That's a moment for some of them when they realize, wait a minute, people.
Not everyone is going to abuse.
And next thing you know, you start seeing personality. They start talking,
and they're bubbly,
and
they
start
can work
enjoying
on that
life.
Self-esteem.
Yeah. Start realizing
they're
so
worthy.
So please don't underestimate the power of you donating towels and pajamas and toiletries and stuff like that.
And we do have some kiddos in shelter. I was thinking about doing I think we're going to do a trunk or treat.
Okay.
But donating, maybe you have some used, and I'm just thinking outside the box, used Halloween costumes.
Sure.
I mean, I know my son, he grows so quickly.
Well, you only wear them once.
Yes.
Really. I mean, you
he
really
has
do.
a whole trunk.
Yeah.
Of, different costumes.
That's why people donate to the thrift stores.
Yeah.
If you need a Halloween costume to buy, go to a thrift store.
And by all means, so all of our donations go to our admin office, and then they're sorted. Stuff that is meant for shelter goes directly to shelter.
Well, we don't want people going to the shelter.
No, I don't want them to think, you're donating things and it's going to be sold. No, there is a separation.
Sure.
If you just let us know, hey, this is for thrift store, this is for shelter.
And what happens also, too, is a lot of times when some of the folks, members of the home, get to that point where they're ready to transition to their own place, they get to do a shopping spree through the thrift store. They get to go through, and if there's coffee pots or clothing or furniture.
Coffee pot's another one.
So that thrift store is for these victims first.
It is.
And then if there's things
the main reason we have the thrift store.
So if there's anything that
we would
doesn't
not
sell
we would not have the thrift store if it wasn't for giving back to the victim.
That's it. So you get to sell, and so whatever's not needed gets to sell back at so you get to buy it super dirt cheap, and that money gets to go back to the programs, the events.
It goes right back into the Roswell Refuge.
So every bit helps.
It's an awesome cycle.
Another way you can help out, and this is where things get, because for folks that don't know, at the home, they want to treat it like a home. They want to make it a home environment. There's families in there. There's moms, dads, kids. They're there living their lives.
And kids are going to school.
Yeah.
They're getting out of school.
They're doing their thing. And so they try really hard to make it feel like a warm family environment. And how they do that is celebrating holidays, home-cooked meals, all that stuff. So, but here's the caveat. Like, they can buy ingredients to make cakes and to do these things. But because of grant money and earmarks and what's purpose for, you can't literally go out and buy like a bag of candy and bring it to the place. However, they can accept donations.
Yes, we can.
And so if you would like to go buy a bag of candy and bring it by for the kids, that would be amazing. The refuge would love to do it themselves, but because of the way earmarked money, they could buy the sugar, the flour, and everything to make something, but they can't actually buy a bag of Kit Kats or Reese's peanut butter cups. So if you would love to do that, especially with Halloween right around the corner, maybe pick up a couple extra bags of candy while you're there and drop them off at the refuge or at the admin building, and they'll get it to the refuge.
Absolutely.
They will eat that up and use it, and
our community helps us so much. I mean, you guys have been so good to us.
Yeah, so those are little creature comforts. And here's another thing too, if depending on, where they're at in their development and things are, a lot of times businesses or entities provide services that are very much fabric of the progress for these victims. And what I'm talking about is things like spa days, pamper days,
haircuts. We have had some donations from some local barbers.
Yeah, love that stuff.
That's amazing.
You don't know what that does to the self-esteem and to the confidence level
especially
of some of
a
these
child
individuals.
that starts school. Or just
they're wanting to fit in and belong.
Because they're not at home.
Exactly.
They're out of their element.
Exactly.
We know kids are like sponges and they're very resilient, but it does give them that extra.
Well, and I haven't been in school in a while because I'm a little long in the tooth, but kids, it's a world that, like, if they're coming from the home, they're already coming from a place different than most of the kids in that classroom. Yeah. And the last thing sometimes you want to do, depending on the age, is you just want to blend in. You want to be like the rest of the kids.
Put your head down, and
And so by doing these things, that gives them the chance that they've already got a difference because they're at the home. But when they show up with the same sneakers and the same shoes that the other kids are having, and they're all having fun and talking about that, then that's one less thing that these kids have to worry about. Yeah. So please, it really does make a difference. These little, I think many of us consider minute things to do.
Brand new. Yeah. Yes, it's just those little things.
Yeah.
It is.
I also want to ask too. I know COVID and everything's changed, but you were allowing some folks to come to the residence to do some work, like remodel some of the rooms, things like that. Is that still a thing, or are we still kind of?
We're still looking. There have been some organizations that have been very good to us.
Good.
The Women's Club, some other ones that, of course, I'm forgetting to mention. I apologize. You know what's needed with all this rain, especially, is
how's the roof?
Oh my gosh, the roof is okay.
This is when you find out how the roof
right?
is.
So it's the weeds and it's the trees and it's the limbs. So if anyone wants to come out and do some yard work,
that would be very helpful.
I will be right next to you, and I will hold the bag, or I will put on gloves and pull those weeds. But we desperately need that.
Okay.
You know, our Roswell Garden Club, they have been so gracious to us. To plant flowers, and then the heat, of course, took those flowers out. But now they planted mums of pretty purple, so that was great.
Very appropriate for the month here. So,
yes, October.
So again, call the office, call the main office to if you
and it
ask
can be
about...
a tax write-off too.
Absolutely, take advantage of the tax stuff.
Yes, we have forms that we can give you.
Yeah. If you want to do good work, we want to give you the tax breaks for that.
Absolutely, and we would love you with all of our hearts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Things like that could.
This is how this keeps going. The refuge, the real. I mean, yes, the day to day and the meetings and the navigating through the various red tape to get help for the different people.
Leslie is our billing, and
that's the real hard work. But
Grant guru.
Yeah,
that's the hard work.
But the real fixing work is being done by those donations, by those just creating an environment where there's love and hope. And that's really all you're trying to put that back into these people's lives.
Maybe you have, decorations that you're getting rid of, and you don't want to go through the hassle of putting them on Facebook or selling them.
Let them take it off your hands.
Yes,
absolutely.
We can put them in a room and decorate and make it feel so cozy.
Absolutely. And it's and I will tell you this, the moment you see your little donation or a little contribution make a difference in someone's life.
Oh, and it does.
It is a bit addictive. I'm not going to lie. You kind of want to do that again. You're like, hey, I would love to keep it.
This.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So please, and I'm telling you, this is what I love about the refuge and everything about it is every person that rolls up their sleeves and helps, it's going to help.
It does. And, I've worked for the refuge for almost 9 years, and I can tell you my son is almost 7. He'll be 7 in January.
He's almost grown up the whole. That's all he knows is mom at the refuge.
Once in a while, kids, they get toys and exuberant amounts at Christmas. Is we go through and we say, okay, let's take a box.
Yeah.
And let's fill it with some toys that we can give back to shelter, or and instill those. And it doesn't have to just be for Roswell Refuge, but instilling those things in our youth. Giving back.
Yeah.
It's
it's sad that your child has to see through secondhand some of the things in this world.
Yes.
Because you don't want any. But do you know what, though? This kid is going to be so much better equipped to handle these things. And who knows? That now that the compassionate heart is kind of, that those seeds have been planted.
It is.
I'm going to imagine your child will be probably, I would not be surprised if the apple's not falling far from the tree here.
I sure hope
and
so.
your child's going to be at a place just like this doing something very similar.
Yes.
But that's
giving back.
But please come out to the candlelight vigil.
See us. It'll be a great evening.
Yeah, it'll be.
And if you don't want to speak, if you want to share your story, this is the time.
If you just want to come and be a part of the room.
You want to make an impact. There's going to be survivors. There's going to be victims. There's going to be those
maybe you're looking for
learned
courage.
from our offender program. All walks of life.
If you're looking for strength, courage to help you in your own situation, I got a feeling you're going to find a lot of it at this event.
The families of the souls that we've lost to domestic violence, their speaking is just a testament to our community.
Well, they're the ones that
they're
they're picking up the baton and keeping and I'm going to say many of them are keeping the fight going so that their family member's name doesn't die in vain.
Yes.
That wasn't that they're more than just a victim. They're a beacon and a reminder to other people
of why we do what we do.
Exactly. So this is why it's important to come to this event. Again, it's going to be the 19th of October, 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Anderson Museum, which is at 409 East College, if you're not familiar. doesn't cost a thing. Don't need to RSVP. Just come, bring the whole family. Yeah. If you have any questions about this or anything, you can always go to the Roswell Refuge Facebook page.
Yes, that has our event on there, and you guys can call us.
Yes.
So our crisis number that is 24/7.
Now this is the number. Don't call this number if you have questions about the event. This is for victims and
this is our
questions
crisis
about
number.
The 24/7 hotline.
575-627-8361 is that crisis number.
Yes.
And our regular office number is 575-624-3222.
And if you got questions about donations,
if you need a restraining order against a domestic partner, or you're being harassed, you've been sexually assaulted, call that number. Let's help you. If you feel you have an anger issue, call that number. Ask for me.
There are people that you can talk to and help
into
you.
Some groups.
And but yeah, if you got issues, call that 24/7 hotline.
And we have an empowerment group too that I need to mention.
Oh yeah, good.
That's an amazing group that Shelter has.
And this is the thing. It's really all facets of domestic violence, and from the victims.
We're trying to hit it from every angle
because it really is so many layers of stuff we're untangling to make headway here, and I feel hopeful that in another 20 years, we're going to be in a much better place even more. Like I think mentally, and
I'm pretty positive about
because,
it.
I mean, as sad as what we see today, I'm telling you, it is so much better today.
It is.
I mean, just mental health in general. I was talking about suicide yesterday, and when I was a kid, when someone committed suicide, people were mad at him like they committed an injustice against society.
Yeah.
That's how we treated people with suicide. How selfish of them.
Shaming.
Yeah. And obviously that was
come
probably
a very
the
long way.
But, mental health wasn't far from that. It's like, well, what did they do to deserve it? You know what I mean? It was that mindset.
What's wrong with them?
Yeah. And so we got to make the strides. We got to make, and so
We're
really
on our
am
way.
hopeful.
I say that all the time. We are on our way.
Absolutely. But again, the 24/7 hotline, 575-627-8361.
Yes.
24/7. Call that. Yes. You'll remain anonymous. You'll not and you're in total control of that conversation on what happens next.
If you need our help, we'll be there.
If you have any other questions about anything, donations or anything business related, don't hesitate to call 575-624-3222. That's 624-3222.
That's our admin number.
And, of course, you can always go to RoswellRefuge.org, the website, and look for Roswell Refuge on Facebook.
Yes.
And then don't forget, October 19th, 5:30 p.m. at the Anderson Museum for the Candlelight Vigil event.
Yay.
Good deal.
All right.
Well, thank you, ma'am. We'll see you next time.
Sir. See you later.
Don't work too hard.
You either.
Stay cool when it needs to be hot and dry, because we got everything this week.
Oh, my goodness.
You might need shorts today, but a sweater by like Saturday or Friday. So.
All right.
Enjoy.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Cirillo. Mac Chase was remembered on Friday as one of Artesia's greatest superstars, a title that he would have most assuredly rejected. Chase was remembered for his successes in the oil and gas and agriculture industries, and then later in life for his philanthropic endeavors throughout the region. Growing up poor, Chase was remembered for knowing the value of a dollar. He served in the military and returned back to his roots here in Artesia after serving during the Korean War. The city of Artesia is announcing a temporary facility closure and a permanent change to a section of North 3rd Street. Over the next 2 weeks, the shelter at the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Recreation Complex will be closed to replace some broken concrete. Also, starting October 25th, a section of North 3rd Street from Main to West Texas Avenue will permanently become a one-way street headed north. The city says the change is being made to create more parking in the area. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Oil prices are up, Wall Street down as Israel and Hamas battle it out following the terrorist attack on Israel, which was launched over the weekend. Oil prices have gained more than $3 a barrel. That could halt or reverse recent declines in the price of gas. Pump prices have dropped 12 cents in the past 2 weeks. Union workers at Mack Truck are on strike after voting down a tentative 5-year contract agreement that negotiators had reached with the company. The United Auto Workers Union says 4,000 of its workers are off the job now, adding to labor turmoil in the industry that has ensnared all three of the big Detroit automakers. Union President Shawn Fain says 73% of workers voted against the deal with Mack Truck. The UAW represents Mack workers in Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Florida. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. Not much going on over the next couple of days as high pressure centers over southern Colorado and northern New Mexico and western Texas, and that'll keep things sunny today. Mid to upper 80s on the afternoon high. Mid-50s and clear for the overnight hours. Will warm up a few degrees on Tuesday. We're looking at upper 80s for the whole area with sunshine and maybe around 90 by Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
A good night's sleep is so important, and issues like sleep apnea make falling asleep and staying asleep nearly impossible, but we can help. I'm Dr. Sarah Usher at Carabelli Dental. With the help of a simple oral appliance, your sleepless nights could be a thing of the past. But don't take my word for it, just ask Lainey.
My name is Lainey Smith. I wasn't surprised when I found out I had sleep apnea simply because I had a horrible sleep pattern. I attempted to use the machine and it drove me nuts and I could not sleep with it. And then that's when Dr. Agger told me about the oral appliance. I would suspect I've been using it for 2 years now. In all of that time, I've had less than 10 poor nights of sleep. It's a complete game changer. I feel a lot better because I sleep.
This simple appliance can change your life. Call us today to set up your appointment so you can finally get the good night's sleep you need.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell, or call 575-622-4455.
Clyde Lewis and Ground Zero is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
And that's going to do it for us. Thank you very much for allowing us to be a part of your day. If you missed any part, ksvptv.com. Click on the Mornings with Mike Winter's channel. You'll find all of our interviews there. Have a great day. We'll talk to you bright and early tomorrow.
Breaking news this hour from